Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? All good, wherever you are. Nice to see so many of you talking between the wait time. And yes, indeed, happy Pride Month again, and happy Juneteenth today. It's nice to see more places recognize it. In fact, I've noticed quite a few businesses have been closed for it, which is good. I'm sure some people are upset about that, but screw them, right? But yeah, let's see who we got here. Pokraj, how are you doing? The thumbnails are never not iconic. Well, I try my best, and this time, yeah, I had a bit of fun with it. It was nice. I don't know why it came to mind. I just thought it would be funny. But yeah, I've never been emo in my life. I do not like emo music. You know, sorry about that. But yeah. I did used to, like, with some people though, like when it used to be more of a thing, I did like the style in some ways, not every way, but in some ways. You know, some people could pull it off well. I wonder where all the emo kids are now, the one from like the mid 2000s and whatnot. Are they all just like accountants or something, working in admin? Who knows, maybe they kept up the style. I actually did see there was a festival happening in the UK this past weekend called Download Festival, which is sort of like more geared towards like metal music. And my friend sent me a picture of the lineup, and it was like a time machine. Like the whole thing just was like acts from 2005, 6, 7, etc. Like they had Fall Out Boy, Queens of the Stone Age, who are really good. I really like Queens of the Stone Age. They're like one of my favorite bands. But yeah, the whole thing. I'll pull it up in a moment. North, south, east, west. Thought it was going to be a Bayonetta playthrough. I do love Bayonetta, I will say that. Maybe someday. It is a pretty short game. I did play Bayonetta 3 when that came out. It was alright. Still fun. But I don't know. It would have been nicer if it was on consoles other than the Switch. It felt very hamstrung by the Switch's limitations. Good system, but it's aging. Luna, hi, how are you doing? Buddy Blake, creator of the mythical Free Persons group, how are you doing? That's the best I could do off the top of my head. And he made it. Hello, hello. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to you as well. Nice to have you here. How's it going? Tremolo, hellos to yous as well. Wasn't a baking stream this week. That was last week. Last Friday I did that. I made the madeleines. I'll show you a picture of them in a bit. But it turned out very nicely. Ended up doing 2 batches because I had to do one which I prepared in advance since they had to stay in the fridge overnight. But yeah, very nice. I don't think I'd posted the recipe in the Discord. I can't remember. But if any of you want to try making it, you can get those trays for them very cheap. They're like, wait, I did post it, yeah. But they make those trays very cheap, like $12 or something like that. Give it a go. Super easy to make, super, super nice. My dear wife, D. Salari, is here. How's everyone's day? It's good. She's in the other room right now. And yes, I will show the cats in a bit. In fact, I have Curie right next to me. Maybe we should set up a Curie cam. I just realized the music thing is obscuring the members. So 1 second. There we go. That should do. It's hard to come up with a layout when you got all kinds of crap going on screen. In fact, I think that will obscure the alerts if they pop up, so I'll put it up here. That'll do. Okay. And OBS isn't great at allowing you to snap things and all that stuff. Yeah, let's get a Curie cam going. God, you big. Throw my back out lifting her. Let's see, webcam. Oh, of course the Curie cam is right there. Where to place her? Very much out of focus. Good job, webcam. That's not interfering with the chat. Everyone spam some stuff in the chat right now so I can test whether it's in the way. Just spam whatever, emotes, words, etc. Let's see. There we go. That's in focus. New me movie. There she is. The reason you're all here. Okay, it does go over a bit. Just put her on my face. There we go. That'll do. Okay. You know, we'll just put it here for now. Should be fine. And in fact, it's under the alert, so it should be okay. Anyway, enough fooling around. Sorry, don't mean to waste your time. But yes, there she is, Curie, in all her glory. In all her furry glory. She's even looking at you. She's not showing her ass to you today, which makes a change. Say hi, Curie. You. Well, let's give her a full picture at for a moment. There she is. Thought she was gonna swipe me then. She's inclined to. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for the next baking stream. I might give it a bit of a gap between baking streams now, just because I don't want to end up like running out of things to bake. And I want to try and make them a bit more special, you know? Not something that's too often, you know, too much of a good thing can end up taking away how special it is. Plus it might help the turnout as well, because yeah, I noticed that the baking streams aren't getting the turnout that I'd like, and the amount of work that goes into setting up a baking stream is a lot. Like, I have to go through a whole setup with the lighting, the camera, overhead cameras, there's a shitload of USB cables just running across the room. So yeah, it's work, put it that way. And then of course, baking stuff, getting everything prepped and everything. Let's see, did I miss anyone? Kelly Mausu. Salari kinda looks like me, but without the HRT in the thumbnail. I'll take that as a compliment, but thank you very much. How are you doing? Nice to have you here, Kelly. Pretty much the sole reason I joined, but now I think I will interact with the people here. Well, that's good. Everyone here is super nice. They are well worth interacting with. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Yes, interaction is a wonderful thing. Helps us all. And you know, that's probably why I do this stream, because I need social interaction. Being a YouTuber, working at home, it's a solitary job. My wife works at home too, but pretty sure we're just sick of each other now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding! I'll get Camus on the phone camera in a little bit. I can only look, I've shown so much already that YouTube has shadow banned me for alienating my target audience. Join the club. Good time for a magnesium drink. Magnesium drinks exist? I have not heard of magnesium drinks, no. What are those? Being a trans non-binary highly entropic being and still obsessing about millimeters of bone, I'm not that different from novel, or incel, sorry. But they don't listen to me. Magnesium-based life form. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say, you know, that's a similarity. Incels do obsess about that stuff, but you know, it's stuff that is obsessed over without merit for incels. It becomes something to blame for them. But of course, you know, you all know this. This isn't something that needs going into. But yeah, it is one of those things where it's like they get to the point where they blame genetic shortcomings for other issues in their life, like personality stuff, for example. I'm not going to deny that, you know, if you are not genetically blessed, then you know, if you're not genetically blessed, then you do not have a very easy time in the world of love, or the game of love. But at the same time, you know, saying I'm going to be lonely forever because I don't have that much of a jawline is a bit of a cop-out, really. I mean, like, look, I'd have a great jawline. Like, see, I'd like to have one. I have like a slope there. But the way I make up for it is when I shave, I just shave a line there, so it adds some definition. It's all about making something work, you know? You can add like some, you know, you can do things with makeup too. Makeup works miracles if you know what you're doing with it. Let me try and catch up on the chat. It's jumped around again. Oh my god. I scrolled once on the chat and it just jumped everywhere. Okay, there we go. Football fans outside in Germany are very loud. You know, that's one thing I do not miss about the UK, the football fans. Football fans, oh my god, are insufferable. I lived in Leeds and there was a stadium there, Leeds United Stadium. Every single time that there was a football match happening, hell on earth. So many people walking around, so many people just jumping in front of cars, traffic jams, and then of course at the end of the game, regardless of whether they won or lose, it was just like tearing shit up. Yeah, not exactly what I call civilized. I'm putting the powder in my orange juice / coconut water drink. Oh, the magnesium powder? Only powders I ever have are like fiber drinks, and those are disgusting. Steve, aka Dio, how are you doing? So I saw in the Discord earlier you said that your dating didn't work out. Sorry to hear about that, but like Sam said earlier, in his wisdom, you know, it wasn't meant to be. I know it sucks, but you'll get over it quickly enough, I think. You'll probably get over it within a week, to be honest. But yeah, it's nice to have you here, Dio. I know you don't get to make it here very often these days. And I hope that Wednesday might be a good day. I've been testing different days. So today I'm testing Wednesday. Obviously for the baking stream, I tested Friday. So yeah, I think I'm going to be moving away from doing a Tuesday stream. Just because when I did that survey in the Discord, even though it was a very small sample of people, you know, it gave me some insight as to what would work better for people. Salari, did you see my brownies? I did, yes, the Reese's brownies. Yeah, they look wonderful, yeah. I meant to leave a comment on them, but I forgot to. But yeah, those look great. I do love Reese's peanut butter cups. I love chocolate and peanut butter as a combination, so I'm sure those tasted dynamite. Were they good? Happy month, lesbians, and hello everyone else who is wonderful. Sumi, nice to have you here. I missed you on the last stream. How are you doing? And yes, happy month to you all. I'd ban football in my country and highly endorse other things, I guess. Yeah, or at least I'd you know, for countries where there's football and people act outraged or just over the top, I'd probably want to put some more restrictions or something. But the thing is, after these matches they send the cops out and everything, and they barely lift a finger unless it's getting really out of hand. World Cup time in particular is really bad for these kinds of things, because once again it's another win or lose, they're gonna wreck everything kind of situation. Yep, do not miss that at all. I do not miss that. I do not miss British nightlife, which is so bad, it's like the last days of Sodom. That's one thing. Whenever I had to go out on a Friday or Saturday night, like if I was gonna go to the movies or something or whatever, to meet up with a friend, those streets would feel very dangerous. You know, even me as a white male walking around, it felt dangerous for me. Can't imagine how it would feel for, you know, woman, person of color, etc. But yeah, and you know, it's not like they're targeting people, but there's a level of vulnerabilities for different groups. But yeah, God, awful, awful. Emo Salari. Yes, we are emo today. May not fully embrace the look, but we are emo. How are you doing, Glacial Creations? Roman Ellis, hello. Nice to have you here. How are you doing? The emo kids are all 6'5" and in finance. You know, I never really saw many tall emo people back in the day. You know, I don't remember much about it, but, you know, I never saw, like, any really tall ones, like, tall, skinny emo people or anything. They're all, like, maybe, like, the boys were maybe, like, 5'8", 5'10", something like that. Women, like, the girls, the women, whatever, they ended up, they were generally, like, really short, I noticed. That it could be, like, I had a close friend, and she was, like, 5 foot, like, just 5 foot tall, tiny person. And she went all in on the look and everything. Except she had, like, quite a lot of curly red hair. So it was something that was difficult to make work, given the kind of aesthetic that emo was. She dyed it black at one point. But, yeah, when it was the red curly hair, it was like, this isn't working, if I'm honest with you. I never told her that. Is football a substitute for war? May as well be. Who knows, maybe it's maintaining peace between countries. I wasn't emo, but I definitely enjoyed the grunge version of Y2K in the early 2000s. Yeah, the early 2000s had some really great music for like the garage rock, indie rock, alternative kind of thing. Like there was some really, really great bands from that era. It's a shame a lot of them have basically disappeared, or at least like have no level of notoriety, but that kind of falls in line with what I was speaking about in my last video, that, you know, given the changes in technology and all that kind of stuff, they've sort of been like put on the back burner really. But yeah, I love a lot of music from that era. Some of my favorite bands, one of my favorite bands is The Strokes, and yeah, they were like huge back then. Like that first album was like a massive bestseller. Did you get a haircut, Salari? I got a haircut about 3 weeks ago now, but thank you very much for noticing. Yeah, I had to track down my old hairdresser because she ended up moving from the hairstylist place of business that I used to go see her. Called up for an appointment and said, oh, she's not here anymore. So I had to, yeah, I was gonna say hunt her down, but no. I had to go find her, and luckily I found out that she's like set up like a small little business of her own. She's working solo now, so good for her. I feel like I'm goth/emo, but with more wholesome aesthetics. I guess, I don't know. I mean, my only aesthetic that I think I've ever been given is sad British man, and that's it really. I can't think of anything. Throughout this whole YouTube thing, you know, I've thought about like what's my branding, what defines me, and the only thing I've ever been able to think of is sad British man, which is a bit tragic if you think about it. But yeah, I don't know what else I would brand it as. Hard to brand yourself. I wouldn't say that I have no definition, but at the same time it's like, I know YouTube, you find the most successful creators out there have like a strong level of branding, whereas me, I have no theme of the video, of the topics in my videos. Like I literally just talk about whatever I feel like, hence why there's like no consistency these days. But that's part of my own need to fulfill myself creatively. I'd rather not pander to the algorithm. I'd rather just talk what I feel like and take the risk really, which sometimes pays off, rarely, and sometimes does not pay off. I look like a highly sophisticated emo now, but my parents restrict me so hard, I think it's no longer a phase, it's permanent now. I mean, a lot of people end up feeling that way, that it's, you know, this is the rest of my life. And there are some elements that end up sticking with you for the long run. But like, you know, you find as you get older, like some things ease off a little bit. Like for example, when I was like 18 to 20 years old, I had pretty damn long hair. At least the longest I'd ever had it. And it was like down to my shoulders. And, you know, I told myself, like, you know, oh, I love having long hair. I'm going to have long hair forever. Like, this is great. I get compliments for it. It's nice. But then, like, I ended up just getting tired of it just because I had to straighten it all the time. I wash my hair every other day because it gets way too greasy if I don't. And, you know, having to blow dry it, use the strainers, you know, it would do horrible damage over time. And I did use the protection stuff on it. But yeah, eventually I was just like, this is too tiring. And then one day I went to get a haircut, got it to about what it is now. And then after that I realized that, yeah, I can't do long hair anymore. This is me now. I'm selling out. Yes, Magical Freelancers Guild is Birdie's comic. Just to put it out there as a legitimate title. Okay. Alright. I'm sorry about that. The internet ended up, well, OBS ended up dropping. So yeah, hopefully we should be good now. I got a notification thing saying that it dropped, so yeah, if you got a freeze, that was on my side. It should be okay now, I think. Yeah, sorry about the lag. Like I said, it's either OBS or my internet. It's not on your side. The Dear Prince, hello. Hello, fellow emos. How are you? How is it going, fellow emo? Are you religious? No, I'm not religious. I guess I'd identify as secular / atheist, however you want to call it. But to be honest with you, like, that's not an uncommon thing in Europe. Like, the majority of British people are someone who the majority of British people identify as secular these days. My mother and father, my mother is Christian, my father is Muslim, because he's Iranian, my mother's British, and they tried to bring me up to let me test out both sides of things, because my mother wanted me to be Christian, my dad wanted me to be Muslim. So like I tried different aspects of it. You know, I went to church, did like some church related stuff, etc. And then, you know, I went to mosques, tried some Muslim related stuff, celebrated like Eid, you know, Eid Mubarak, Eid al-Fitr, and, you know, Christmas and stuff, which, you know, Christmas, it's Christmas, everyone loves Christmas. But yeah, like once I hit like, I think like 9-10 years old or something like that, I just said like, I don't want to do either, is that an option? And yeah, they were just like, okay, well, if you don't want to do either, that's fine. And I was like, okay, so I'll do neither. Cause yeah, I don't know, it just didn't click really. So yeah, I just went from there, and I've been like that ever since. And it'd be nice to be religious, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I find that like, I always think like being religious for most people, like if you are an atheist, like a lot of people obviously, you know, become born again, whatever religion it might be. But, you know, for a lot of people, like when it comes to being secular or an atheist, you sort of like, I know it's kind of like Pandora's box really, you can't close it again. But, you know, each to their own. I'm not going to judge people for their religious choices. So long as they're not being harmful to other people, so long as they're not being judgmental of other people and their religious choices, they're fine by me. And, you know, I've met a lot of people from various religions who are judgmental. Like, you know, I've had Christians tell me directly that I'm going to go to hell. I've had well, not I, but my wife has had, my wife is from a Jewish background. I mean, she herself is an atheist, but she's from a Jewish background, and, you know, she had all kinds of awful things said to her as she was growing up. When she was in, like, I think it was elementary school, kids there, like, said, "You killed Jesus." And that's not even a joke, like, the Christian kid said that to her. So yeah, like, if you're gonna be an asshole to people, then yeah, you know, fuck you. But, you know, if you're just gonna practice your religion, be a decent person, etc., you know, I'm not gonna complain about that. I'm not gonna be an edgy atheist guy that's like, you believe in that stuff? Unless it's Scientology. Fuck Scientology. let me try and catch up here because I realize I'm quite far behind. I made an alt profile just for this live stream. Well, thank you. That does make things simpler for me. I do appreciate parity with the Discord in here. You didn't have to. I remembered who you were. But I imagine there's also many Steves that could potentially show up. Oh yeah, is it stable and everything right now? My bitrate looks... but as long as it's running fine, I can be happy with it. I used to listen to Panic at the Disco. Never really liked Panic at the Disco. As emo bands go, I'd say the only one that I had an appreciation for was probably My Chemical Romance. They had some fun songs. And I think the only emo band that I saw live was Funeral for a Friend. And that's only because it was like part of this whole show thing where they had other bands playing and the genres of those were very different. Okay, I think I'm finally catching up. My wife says hi, everyone. Hello, Rowan's wife. Don't know if you hear this. Nice. Rowan's a lovely person. You're very lucky. Okay, am I catching up now? I/wave. 6:15 a.m. here in New Zealand. Up before winter sun. God, I wish it was winter here. I went out for a walk earlier and I thoroughly regret not putting on any SPF. Because yeah, it was way too hot. I think it's like 36 Celsius right now. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, and I'm never gonna learn. Congratulations on not having a tech issue. Well, it's funny you say that, Pokrach, because the fate's finally caught up to me. We're now just watching a cat bit. Oh, was she cleansing herself? I did not know that. I didn't notice. This is perverse. That's a good one. I do like that one. Alright, 1 second. Let me try. Yeah, exams. My chat. It's weird. I know I've said it a billion times now, but yeah, it's weird. I used to put my hair in a ponytail and always put my hair in long bangs, like the long swoop kind of thing, or like the strands kind of thing. I had an instant headache with the lag. I have psychosomatic reaction to bad internet. Believe me, I held off on streaming for the longest time because every single time when I would stream, I would always get some upload speed drops. I had been back and forth with Spectrum Internet, God knows how many times, had them over at the apartment to look at stuff, and it's still not great. And it is especially painful when I have to upload videos to YouTube because my video files, they're like, I don't know, generally like for a 30-minute video, they're about 4.5, 5 gigabytes in size. And as much as like I would love to upload like 4K videos in 60 FPS, it would just take too long. If I had gigabit internet like Google Fiber, like, I'd do that all the time. But yeah, outside of that, it is the only reason why, you know, funnily enough, as I was just saying that, I got an email from Spectrum saying that your bill is due on the 24th. That hurt me. But yeah, God, it was I'm still not happy with it, but it is what it is now. At least you can see me and not get too many interruptions. Low waist high melanin, aka Ari, right? How are you doing? Cookie feet. Chaos Lab, hello, how are you doing? How are things in New Zealand right now? I'm going so back and forth between messages here. Xent, what do you mean emo-fication? Well, I guess we'll get to that in a little bit. I have to talk about mental health stuff soon. which I will elaborate upon in another area, but you know, you will see. I'm agnostic, atheist, and secularly spiritual. Yeah, it's really what makes you, whatever you're most comfortable with, really. And like I said, so long as like what defines you or what you believe in doesn't get in the way of other people's lives, go for it. Still wondering if non-religious spirituality is possible. I mean, I want to say yes. I mean, obviously I'm not so inclined. Like I, you know, personally don't really see spirituality as a thing, at least not for me. But you know, if that is what you believe in or what you wish to believe in, or you know, what you feel is right, then you know, I don't see why not. I'm a Buddhist who practices Taoism on the side. I do like a lot of teachings from Buddhism, I will say. As you know, if I were to choose a religion, then I'd probably say Buddhism would be my go-to. In fact, one of my like leading beliefs in my life, something I learned years ago and it just like stuck with me, was the Buddhist teaching of life is suffering and suffering is desire. So therefore, if you put yourself in a position where you keep on desiring things, especially like material goods, then you will only bring upon yourself suffering. And you know, when it came to my like relationship with capitalism and whatnot, and it came around that same time, it made a lot of sense. And it was also a time when I was broke too, so hearing that was just like that like hit. And it's something that's helped me throughout the rest of my life, because I think of that stuff all the time. I just think like, you know, when it comes to wanting like fairly expensive goods or just stuff like needs versus wants, basically. And that's how I look at anything in life now. Like, do I need it? Do I want it? If it's a need, then I should prioritize it. If it's a want, then I should consider what it means to have that thing, and I should consider whether I am able to sacrifice something like money, time, etc. to have the thing that I want. Grew up a fundy Jean. What's a Jean? I'm not sure of that. OMG, come join us lesbians in hell. LOL. They promised it would be hot here. I mean, I've always thought to myself, like, you know, you always get those Christians and whatnot that, you know, say like, oh, you'll end up in hell if you if you don't, you know, what do they call it? You know, if you don't believe or whatever in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Whenever people say stuff like that, like, the first thing I want to say to them is like, well, to be honest, if heaven is filled with people like you, I'd rather go to hell, because it sounds fun. You people all in heaven, judging people all the time? Fuck that. I don't want to go to heaven. I don't care how much ice cream you have. Heaven sounds awful. My parents are hell-bent about religion, but I wouldn't open up right now here in chat, I think, for now. That's perfectly fine, you know. Only speak about the level of what you're comfortable at. I'll never push anyone to talk about it. But, you know, if you ever do, feel free to. You could change the end of that joke. Pretty sure we're both sick of working. I am. Yeah. You know, people always have that thing where they say, you know, if you won the lottery, what would you do for the rest of your life? Like, would you still work? I was like, fuck no, I wouldn't work. No, that'd be awful. I'll literally do whatever all day. Like, do whatever the hell. I'd travel, you know, travel a bunch. I'd give a bunch of money away because, you know, if you win the lottery, you get more than you ever need. But, you know, I'd just take what I need to live a good life, a comfortable life, not too luxurious. I wouldn't buy a mansion or a sports car or any of that shit. I'd just buy a nice house for me and my wife, get a reliable car, and then travel, you know? But I would not work. I'd probably just sack in the YouTube channel, if I'm honest with you. Either that or, you know, add a bit more of a budget for it. Or at least hire an editor. Like, I cannot afford an editor, and it's always been my ambition to be able to afford one, just so I can have a more smoother, less stressful workflow. But yeah, that would just be my only goal. I like when artists involve God in their lyrics or artwork, whatever side they're on. It feels so personal. I mean, that might be one thing, but then again, you also got to consider that Christian rock exists, and that is bad. The religious lyric I like is Neutral Milk Hotel's King of Carrot Flowers Part 1, which opens up with Jeff Mangum screaming, "I love you, Jesus Christ." 3 times. It's great. Alright, tell you what, let me, I'm gonna skip some messages, but I'm gonna try and catch up, because I feel like this is just gonna be this is just gonna be the entire stream if I do this. Birdie is right, I'm going around in circles, yeah. Nietzsche, you can judge a lot about a man's character by the amount of truth he can tolerate. I guess, yeah. That's true. I mean, truth can be a very bitter pill to swallow. And the more you can take of it, I guess it's admirable if you can take a lot of truth. One of the things you shouldn't really turn your eyes away from, really. I mean, I've always lived, and I mean, one of the other ethoses I've lived by is just a bitter truth is better than a comforting lie. Jean is shorthand for Christian. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd never heard that before, but good to know. Being autistic, I feel like the blood cell of society. How do you figure? Like, I'm just curious as to what you mean about that. Just going along with the flow or something like that. Just trying to understand the analogy. I'd love to volunteer as an editor. Well, the only problem with like the editor side of thing is just that I've had a very bad experience when it came to getting a person to edit my videos, and it was a really, really awful experience. Not just because the person ended up being kind of an arse, but the product that they ended up delivering was, I'm not kidding here, 100% unusable. Like, they did the project, but the final product was so bad that I had to redo the entire thing myself. It was so horrible, and this person offered to fix it for free, you know, on top of their pay. They offered to fix it for free. I just said there's not enough time. I feel like I would have to hold your hand too much to get it right. And I gave completely explicit instructions about what to do. Everything down to like audio bit rates, resolutions, etc. And I edited the camera footage of me speaking to camera myself. But it was a disaster. And ever since then, like, whenever I have reached out to other editors, I have a friend, and she's edited a couple of my videos, I think, and she's great. Like, she was watching my videos before I even met her, and she works in, you know, the media industry, so she knows editing. So, I mean, I don't know if she's available anymore because she got a new job, so I'll probably try to reach out to her. But I do, you know, when I look for an editor, I ask for them to make like a sample first. So I'll send like a couple of minutes of footage and say, you know, okay, just as a quick demo, here's me speaking on camera, and find whatever clips / graphics you think will be appropriate for this. And, you know, I judge off that one. Obviously, you don't want to send like a whole video and say like, make a video around, you know, say something like, find some clips for this entire video. That would be just too exploitative, really. Even if it was a video that I'd already made. A white blood cell. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. You know, Owl City is a Christian band. The one that sang Fireflies, and it's always a good time. I did not know that, no. You won't believe your eyes. The 10 million firefly. I thought I saw someone walking past me then, but it's the animated music widget there. Something just went past and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. That was it again. It just happened. It's in like my peripheral where it happens. Excuse me. I mean that my ex told me that most people don't want to interact with me, probably because I point out the defense mechanisms like rose-tinted glasses people live in. Disassembling capitalism every day to talk about friends though, but about going with the flow is rather going against the flow. I mean, I've had people say similar things to me as well. Like one of the, I guess, problems when it comes to interacting with other people is that personally I despise small talk. I would rather just get into it when it comes to interactions with other people, learn more about them rather than their opinions on things like weather. Like, I don't care about what the weather is right now. Like, if it's in the middle of summer and someone says to me, ooh, it's a hot one today, it's like, yeah, it's summer, what do you expect? I don't say that, but that's what I want to say. But yeah, stuff like that. I'm just like, can we just cut through the chaff and start talking about each other, you know, like learn things about each other. And yeah, some people aren't amenable to that idea of being open so quickly. And I don't get like, you know, real into, you know, people's like backgrounds or anything. Like I just, you know, start asking about them. Because the fact is, most people out there want to talk about themselves, but they don't have much of an opportunity to. I mean, that's why I mostly ask you all about yourselves, because you have something to say about it. And it's good to give people that outlet. But yeah, like I said, you know, I understand not many people are too amenable to that idea. When is the next video essay coming out? Hopefully soon. I've got it written. I need to record it. If I were to give a rough estimate, maybe within the next 2 weeks. But I've hit some snags when it comes to my workflow, which I'll get to in a moment. But yeah, hopefully not too long from now. But yeah, this has been a bit of a trial getting this one done. Tried any new games? What did I play recently? Let me look at my Steam library. Oh yeah, I've been playing a bunch of Hades 2, which is in early access right now. I played it on a stream not too long ago. I've gotten quite good at it, I will say. I'm able to complete a run through and defeat Kronos without any deaths now, not losing much health. Especially if you use the axe. The axe is very, very good. And I also played through the Apollo Justice trilogy as well. I never played the Ace Attorney games when they were on the DS. So when they did the re-releases, I took it up and I love them. They're very, very fun games. A little frustrating at times, depending on the logic of a case. But yeah, they're very fun games. Way longer than I was expecting, I will say that. But yeah, if you're ever in the market for a good sort of mystery / detective games, those are very good. I do love detective games. And I am awaiting the next expansion to Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. I'm quite behind in my activities for post Endwalker patch, so yeah, I'm trying to catch up on those. But you know, I may not be able to jump on the Dawn Trail bandwagon on day one, but it's fine. Best wishes from Lithuania. Well, thank you very much, Konkara. How are you doing? Belief is just a mechanism and nothing more? Yeah, exactly, you know. It's a very personal thing. Bonjour, quesadilla. Comment allez-vous? Nice seeing you here. I know you don't get stopped by often these days, but it's always nice to see you. We get fireflies over here, really nice to take a walk in a summer evening. Yeah, we get some around here as well. You don't see that many anymore, but they're always pleasant to see burning through the night sky, just dancing around. Lovely. Especially since we don't get them in the UK. At least I think so. I don't recall seeing them in the UK. Same about small talk, that's how my discussions turn into discussions of how neoliberalism and free will are connected. See, generally what I end up doing is that, like, back in the day, like, I used to be, you know, I used to be sort of similarly inclined of, like, I didn't want to do the small talk, but then I started, like, getting to things like more politically, involved kind of discussions with people. Some people would surprisingly go along with it and get really into it, but then you had other people that, like, I tried to get into those discussions with, like, you know, just like grander concepts, and they just weren't really ready to talk about it. So these days, like, when it comes to interacting with other people, I take more of the approach of, like, getting them to talk, and then through them talking, I can, you know, bring myself into it, give myself, like, a, you know, use my own experiences and talk about those in relation to what they're talking about, etc. I found its use. I would say in general, like, I'm a pretty good conversationalist with people, but part of that is just letting them talk, to be honest with you. I hate small talks. Yeah, small talk is boring. Like, it's just simple as that. I really can't stand small talk. Whenever someone's trying to engage in small talk with me, I feel like I'm in a hostage situation. I'm 23, I too have ADHD but never taken medications. Any suggestions? Because I can't focus on a lot of mess issues. Personally, I take Ritalin. I vary between taking like 10 to 20 milligrams, which aren't particularly high dosages, but I have to be careful because I also have pretty bad anxiety. And, you know, given that they're methylphenidate, if you take too much, it can really give you a big spike. Adderall is, I mean, lots of people say Adderall works wonders, but it is stronger than Ritalin. But there are becoming more solutions. There are more solutions available that don't involve methylphenidate or any kind of amphetamine. I can't remember what the name of one is, but there are plenty of options out there. Best thing to do is speak with your, if you have a doctor or psychiatrist, whomever you speak to about it. They'll go over the options with you. You can talk to them about, like, your worries. You know, if you are someone that gets anxiety, just let them know. And they can start you off on something soft. And as time goes, you just try different things, see what works for you. I found that Ritalin works for me. I've had to play around with the dosages, but yeah, it works for me. So yeah, best to just ask, really. I've not tried too many different things for my ADHD, so yeah, I don't have a you know, a wealth of experience with different medications. I tried one that didn't have methylphenidate in it, and it didn't work out for me. It just didn't do anything. When I complain about the weather, there's more of a point to it because I'm a special little boy. Yeah, that's true. You know, Birdie and my wife, like, you know, they both have stuff that is, you know, the weather does have an effect on their health, their pain levels, etc., and discomfort. So yeah, and dryness too. I know they both have Sjogren's, so that can make them very dry in the mouth and eyes, etc. Yeah. I really struggle doing small talk, probably because of my autism. Yeah, a lot of people with autism do have struggles with small talk. I've never been officially told, like, you know, if I am autistic. I do have a decent list of common symptoms with autism, but, you know, it's actually one of those things I never spoke about with a mental health professional. One of the biggest ones I'd say is that I avoid eye contact, like, all the time. Like, even with the camera, I don't like making eye contact. Feels very personal. For me, I'm so nosy that I use small talk as a way to learn about people, although getting to the heart of the matter is definitely me after the pandemic. Yeah, you know, the way I see it is just life's too short to be wasted on small talk. That's it, really, you know. Get into the nitty gritty of it. Go up to a stranger and ask them, if you had the choice, how would you like to die? Do not ask a stranger that. I beg you, do not. Immediately regretted saying that. Ooh, Dawn Trail. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dawn Trail. I'm curious about the story since, you know, Endwalker brought that long arc, that 10-year arc to an end. I will say I haven't been too, because I've been going through the second part of the, you know, the post-patch Dawn Trail Endwalker story. I haven't been too big of a fan of it, just because, you know, Zero is okay as a character. Varshan, especially when he's in his you know, when he's in his human or slash aura form, he bores me to tears, I won't lie. But yeah, it's been alright. It was difficult to follow on through, I will say that. I didn't envy the task that they had on their hand. I just checked the temp, and here in Charlotte is the same. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, because you're in Washington DC, right? Which, you know, I've heard is pretty damn hot in the summers. You ever played There Is No Game? I saw a walkthrough on Jacksepticeye's channel and loved it. I have heard about it in passing. I know nothing about it. I think someone posted something about it on the Discord yesterday or something. Also, atomoxeline is kind of like... Oh, you're talking about the ADHD medication. Okay. Oh, wait, sorry. You're replying to Elliot Anderson. Okay, my bad. New Zealand is the most right-wing out to lunch government and that it's ever had. It's not easy. Really? I will admit I'm a bit out of touch when it comes to New Zealand politics. But I didn't realize it was a conservative government right now. Where's the emo? I came for the emo. Got your emo right here, baby. I'm down in the dumps. I just don't have the aesthetic going on. But you know, as my wife mentioned in the Discord, sure, let's set a stretch goal for it. If I can hit 100 YouTube members, YouTube channel members, then I will do an emo look for an entire stream. Why not? I'll go for it. I will debase myself like that. Got my wife here, who is very good with makeup. I'm sure she could do a bang up job with some eyeliner, maybe some eyeshadow. I probably have to buy a wig for the hair, just because I can't really... God, it disconnected again. Alright, are we back? Sorry, it disconnected again. I'm assuming you just got a big lag. Debase, you mean embrace yourself? I guess no. If I were to embrace myself, I'd say like if I fell into any category of the dark arts, if you want to call it that, I'd probably say goth would probably be more up my alley, because I'm a big fan of The Cure, for example. So yeah, that would be like more my alley, and you know, I do like a good selection of more goth type area, not gothic, but yeah. You didn't get a lag. That's unusual because I got the pop-up saying it disconnected. Oh well, that's good. I'm a literal sprout right now, LMAO in Final Fantasy. Yeah, it does take a good amount of work to get rid of your sprout icon in Final Fantasy 14. I can't remember exactly what the requirements is, whether it's like an hour count or something. But yeah. Set up a throne, I'll send you a wig. I've been told to set up a throne numerous times. I do have an Amazon wish list, which you can see in the description below, which is mostly just like baking stuff. Something for the cats. And some equipment stuff if people are feeling very generous. But yeah, maybe I'll find something. Maybe I'll set up a throne. Oh, Salari will be cool to see. Hello, N-Vertex. Nice to have you here. Very nice to have you here. Yeah, I don't see you very often. Nice for you to stop by. How are you doing, Vertex? But yeah, like I said, if we reach 100 channel members, which right now I think I've got about 30, I'll go for it. I will embrace hyper emo-fication. I'll go for the hair, the makeup. I would like to play the music, but YouTube, you know? But yeah, let's see how it happens. Let's see it. Let's go, as the kids say. What would even the decorations be for an emo thing? Just like some Hello Kitty dolls or something like that? I don't know. My ex stayed with me because she told me that my redeeming quality is that I make good jokes. I mean, hey, you know, there's a... what's the saying now? Looks fade, but a good sense of humor lasts forever. Something like that. Yeah, it's true. The new Hrothgar character is my new best friend in game. Move over Graha. Oof, that's a bold statement. Yeah, the post-Endwalk stuff hasn't really been my fave. Zero is okay, but I haven't been super invested. Yeah, it's... they tried, and I appreciate their attempt, but yeah, it's definitely lacked. It definitely was lacking, especially compared to like post Heavensward and post Shadowbringers. The Shadowbringers was a very high bar in all respects. I live in Southern Virginia, really close to NC actually. Oh, okay. I don't know why I assumed that you were in Washington. But yeah, I'm not surprised that our weather's practically identical. Yeah, Jacinda left and there was a conservative party in power in New Zealand. Oh, I see. Yeah, I did not know that. And speaking of elections, the UK has an election on July 4th, I believe. We'll have our first general election since Boris Johnson last won with the Conservatives. Finally, after 14 years, we can hopefully get those fucking Tories out of government. They have done so poorly that they might not even be the runner-up now. They might be like third place. That is a prediction. I don't put too much purchase in predictions just because, you know, they can be very wrong at times, just like at 2016. But yeah, I'm gonna register so I can vote overseas. I have a friend who's my proxy voter. But yeah, if you do live in the UK, go out and vote on July 4th. And don't vote for Tories. Morgoth stream. Yeah, sure. You'll have to like post some style recommendations for me. I'm not gonna wear the super tight t-shirt though. I would feel so uncomfortable all stream. Do you know about Skinny Puppy? Is it goth music? I'm not too sure. I've heard of Skinny Puppy, but I know nothing about them. I have the power to make all sorts of Salaris. I will use my art for evil. Oh my god. What have I done? Emo look for the stream would be fun, but asking your wife to do a Dracula makeup and reenact, I assume, the favorite What is a Man scene will be epic and throw a glass to the ground. I'd have to make some with a breakaway glass. I get so paranoid, or not paranoid, terrified of whenever we've broken a glass, just because we have two very stupid cats. There's one's right there that will go around and just lick the floor randomly. Have you seen the game Grand Blue Fantasy Relink? Yeah, I've played it actually. At least finished the main campaign and kind of dropped it there. But yeah, it was a very fun game. I was surprised how good it was, to be honest with you. I didn't really try too many characters, but the one that I probably had the most fun playing that really fit my sort of preferred combat style was Narmaya and Zeta as well. And I actually play Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. That's like my main fighting game right now, and Zeta is my main in that. She's great. Even though she's not very high on the tier list, I have fun with her. Doing great, so happy to catch a live stream. Thanks. That's glad. I'm glad to hear that. That's great. Can't talk. Also, if you haven't already, click that thumbs up icon for the stream since you're already here. Yeah, click that and let's smash that like button. A little bit of me dies every time. Alright, I think I'm going to take a brief break right now just so I can recalibrate, do some stretches, polish off this tea. In fact, that's done already. But yeah, what the fuck is that? Ooh, got a free $5 Starbucks gift card for filling in a survey. I can buy 3/4 of a Frappuccino with that. Okay, Salari, thanks for talking to me so personally, but I have to go learn some music theory. You're 100 meters from my house. Oh my god. I hope that's a lie. But yeah, good luck with the music theory. I know it's very difficult. I know basically jack shit about music theory. But yeah, thank you very much for stopping by, Kelly Masu. Enjoy the rest of your day. But yeah, I am going to take a 4 or 5 minute break. In the meantime, the question of the day, do I remember it? My wife came up with it. Oh yeah. Question of the day, what do you do to relax? Very simple question. Keep it clean. And I will see you in a moment. Let me post it in the let me pin that shit. What you do to relax? Don't answer the question now. That's not how this works. I'm kidding. It's fine. You have to wait till I go. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Go get a drink. Do your stretches in the meantime. Alright, I am back. Thank you for waiting. Let's see what you all do to relax. Okay. Got a couple people that said things prematurely. Let's see. Looks like it's weirdly lost track of something. Let me see. Okay. By drawing... Oh, I also missed Regen. Hello, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. I draw. Animate it. I draw. That's good. I used to like draw. I need to get back into drawing. I sort of like... used to do it a lot when I was a teenager, but kind of let it drop. Smoke weed. How much weed do you smoke, do you? Smoke so much weed you won't believe and you get more ass than a toilet seat. Not a hair fall repair ads playing as you were talking. Oh my god. What is my ad saying about me? Playing really good video games that hook up your attention with lore, stories, etc. I mean, you know, I play video games to relax all the time, so yeah, I get that. And a good engrossing story takes it a long way. I relax by reading in the bath with yuzu salts, and yeah, much like my wife, she's been relaxing with Epsom salt baths recently. That music just went up in volume. Okay. My chat is... what the... My chat won't scroll down. There we go. Okay. I watch a lot of food content. You know, funny thing is, even though like I'm into my baking, I don't watch a lot of food making videos. There is a channel that my wife watches that I passively watch, How to Bake That. I think the channel's called. She does like some good sort of like debunking videos. But as for like favorite baking channels, I've mentioned it before, but I really love Preppy Kitchen's videos. A lot of the recipes I've used for the baking streams have been by them. But yeah, John Cannell is great. Love that guy. If I ever did a YouTube collaboration, I would hope it would be with him, but I know that would never happen because we're completely different channels. I knit or crochet with video essays in the background. My mother has actually been doing a lot of crocheting recently. She used to knit, but she has arthritis in her fingers, unfortunately. So she took up crocheting. She made like a tote bag recently. She's made like 3 blankets. She's been making hats, all kinds of stuff. She's very good at it. Also find doodling relaxing. Yeah, just, you know, picking up a pencil or a pen, even if it's just like a biro, is a great way to kill the time. Do art with essays in the big... sorry. Do art with essays in the background too. And you all have a lot of similarities to each other, see? These days I just watch movies from Mubi to feel better. I've never really watched anything on Mubi. And I know whenever I watch a movie, I have to sit down and focus on it. I've never been really the type to put it on in the background, unless it's maybe something I've watched, you know, dozens of times. But yeah, I need to catch up a bit more. My next video is going to be on movies. I think I mentioned it already, but the next video is going to be about the death of movie theaters, which I know has been a fairly hot topic right now. But there is a lot of truth to it, and it does closely tie into what I was talking about in my last video about content feeling disposable. Movies have very much gone down the same route, and, you know, if you've got to pay for a movie theater ticket, it's something a lot of people aren't particularly keen on. Did he say we're allowed to do fan art of him? Can we make goth Salaris? You are more than welcome to. I don't get a lot of fan art. I can probably count how much fan art I've had on like one hand, but I am very much open to it. I always love seeing it. If you want to do a goth version of me, go right for it. You will get a laugh out of me, I'm sure. I either sleep, play video games, or build Lego. Hard to tell since when I'm not writing at night, I'm a bum in the day. Likewise. I'm very much a night person. I relax with bath salts in my tub and just have a maintenance day where I take care of myself. That's good to have, yeah. It's good to put that time aside to look after yourself. Oh yeah, and also when I relax, I play guitar. I used to see playing guitar as sort of like a thing that I have to get good at. Like it's something that, you know, if I'm not good at it, it's not worth doing. But these days, I really like just doing it as something I can play around with. I don't know if you can hear it or not, because I have noise suppression on. And I don't own an acoustic guitar, so unfortunately I can't do that. I'm not going to sing any songs or anything like that. I just got this to mess around with. Keep my fingers busy. Tell you what, if you are going to do a goth looking me if I'm to suggest something, look up a picture of Robert Smith from the 80s, not modern Robert Smith, and maybe base it around that one. You know, Robert Smith from The Cure. He had like the big hair, wore the lipstick, the eyeliner and eyeshadow and everything. I won't lie, even though he looks out there. Oh, my face is very much covered. Even though it's pretty out there, it's always a look that I have quite liked. Let me shrink this a bit. Sorry, Curie. I know this isn't acceptable. Welcome back, Tremolo. Did you say how you like? Oh yeah, you go lie out in the yard. That's a nice way of doing it, yeah. Wear sunscreen though. Also, I do not relax. Have you met me? Yes, I remember you saying that you work an ungodly amount. You should find time to relax. Self-care, you know. If Salari was a goth furry, what animal would he be? I mean, I guess in keeping with the goth colors, a skunk or a raccoon, maybe? Are there many skunk goths? Not goths, skunk furries out there? My favorite thing lately is to lay out in my yard under a tree if it's not too hot. Throw a mat down, and a blanket, my pillow, instrumental music, nap. That does sound very, 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 very relaxing. You very much go out of your way to relax, Tremolo, and I admire that. I admire anyone who puts the extra mile into relaxing. I encourage all to give it a try under something shady. Headphones or earbuds make it more immersive. Most definitely. How to cook that's the channel. Yeah, thank you, Quesadilla. Anne Reardon, that's the girl. Or woman, sorry. Yeah, she has some fun videos, yeah. I do like them, especially since recently she's took to more doing like TikTok myth-busting stuff. Because, yeah, on TikTok there is an ungodly amount of terrible information on there. You know, it's like, I think one I saw recently was like how to microwave an egg, and I'm sure most of you know this, but do not microwave an egg. Like, it is very, very dangerous to do that. But yeah, I saw a video like, you know, here's how you microwave an egg to make it into a boiled egg. Just boil it in water. You don't need to use a microwave. All of these like shortcut hacks, I can't stand them. Like, they're so bad and do not achieve the same result. Like, there are some life hacks or kitchen hacks, baking hacks, cooking hacks, etc. There are some that are good, but so many on TikTok are like leaning towards the dangerous. And things like saying, you know, put an egg in a microwave, do not do that. And don't boil water in the microwave too. I know you can achieve the same result as using a kettle or a pot, but if you boil water in a microwave, basically the reaction, I don't know the exact science behind it, but the reaction of like the molecules inside of the glass can become like a lot more violent than heating it up slowly. And sometimes there have been known instances of people who like take their water out of the microwave, and as soon as it moves just like a little bit in the cup or jug or whatever it might be, it's suddenly just because those molecules were moving around, and that bit of movement was sort of like a catalyst to make it just pop. So yeah, just the slow way is fine. Just stick with the slow ways. They work for a reason. And do not fuck around with a microwave. Like, it's dangerous. Anyone else seen any terrible TikTok hacks? I'm always curious. I always, you know, I'm morbidly curious. Gotta go, but it was nice popping in for a bit. Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. KZD, thank you very much for stopping by. Always appreciate having you here. And if I don't see you before on Dawn Trail, enjoy Dawn Trail. I was just learning Wonderwall in my class. How's that going? No. Does he? I think he uses a capo, doesn't it? I know it starts with G. No. I can't remember it. I used to know how to play it. I need so much rest. I've had so few spoons lately. Spoons? I'm lagging. My first thought was actually skunk for Salari. Oh, yeah, I'm behind again. I'll be catching up in a second. Yeah, I'm caught up. I'm close to the end of the chat. While we talk about movies, I usually buy the digital version on YouTube, so when a new thing comes out on digital, if I want to watch it, I may buy it. Yeah, it's good to support movies that way, and it's good to have a copy of it, especially since, you know, with Netflix, etc., they put a movie on there and suddenly it's gone within a few months. So yeah, it's always good to have something available for it. Or have it available somewhere, reliably. I feel like the skunk would work well with 80s Robert Smith hair too. It probably would, yeah. As long as you don't make me look like Pepe Le Pew. That guy's a fucking pervert. That guy Me Too the shit out of Pepe Le Pew. I'm sure Anne Reardon has saved several people's faces because of her microwaving egg videos. Yeah, like she's made some legitimate, like, honest to God, like, life-saving tips on that channel. Because I remember one time, and it wasn't a baking thing, but she did this thing where it was like, there was a TikTok trend of people making, I think they're called Liechtenstein engravings on wood. And that's where you put like an electric current through a piece of wood and it makes like these really cool, like sort of lightning etchings into the wood. But it requires a lot of power to go through it and is exceedingly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And there was this trend of people making these videos on YouTube, and people actually did die and get seriously injured off the back of following a fucking YouTube TikTok trend. It's so bad. Like, just imagine dying from a TikTok trend. Like, it's not exactly something to talk about at your funeral, but good God, that'd be the way that you go. It's not worth it, you know? But yeah, you just, I mean, the simple fact is you don't mess around with electricity. Electricity is so damn dangerous to play around with. But yeah, like stuff like that, so bad. I don't know how you can even hold TikTok responsible for the kind of content that's put out there, because so much content gets released on TikTok that it's practically impossible to screen everything that goes through. Oh, in fact, Rowan Ellis, you just spoke about it there. I missed it. But yeah, it's no joke. It is absolutely no joke. You have to explain spoon theory. Okay, yeah, clearly I'm out of the loop here on something. If you microwave egg, poke a hole in the yolk. That stops it exploding. It's because well, you see, part of the issue is that, like, egg yolks, sorry, the egg shell is, in most instances, porous, and it depends whether it is treated or not. So eggs have what's called a cuticle outside, you know, cuticle the same way you'd spell it with, like, you know, the thing with your fingernail. So when they have that cuticle on the outside, and generally it's in Europe where they tend to have the cuticle on it, that cuticle forms like a seal on the outside of the egg. Whereas countries like America, they remove the cuticle once they process it. And the egg shell itself, as I mentioned, is porous. You can't see it, like, it's imperceptible to the human eye, but it is porous. But either way, there is not enough room for air to escape from the egg, and obviously heat creates air, and the egg itself has an air pocket inside of it. When you heat the inside of it too much, then that air ends up expanding on the inside, and boom. And not only that, the egg itself heats up extremely quickly, and then that can cause an even more vicious reaction inside of it. It can just, even if you don't get injured from it, you can just break your microwave. It is that powerful of an explosion. So yeah, if you cook an egg, like not in its shell, if you cook it in your microwave and it's whisked, that's perfectly fine. Like you can even make scrambled egg that way. But yeah, do not put an egg in its shell inside the microwave. Do not put, as Loway said, or Ari, sorry, do not put a formed yolk inside of the microwave and cook it, because yeah, that will explode too. Spoons equals the amount of energy one has. It comes from the disability community. Ah, I see. I will remember that, yeah. I am very low on spoons, let's put it that way. But yeah, thank you for explaining that. I learned something new today. TIL. It's like the Tide Pod challenge or the cinnamon challenge. Yeah, that and the nutmeg challenge, which people, once again, did die from. Because if you have a lot of nutmeg, that is very dangerous. Selling tickets is part of my job. I just sold 2 for Inside Out. I wonder how well Inside Out is going to do. I've heard it's expected to do well, but I don't know, I'm a little bit dubious. Can you hear that guitar, by the way? I'm sure you can if I do like that. You can hear it? Okay. Like I said, I didn't bring this to like play or anything, and I just brought it so I can mess around, keep my hands busy. If you recognize this, anyone recognizes this? Anyone? If it's quiet, it gets tuned down. I recognize it, but I don't count yes, because my wife has heard me practice it dozens and dozens of times. It kept cutting out. Okay, 1 second. I'll try it again with the noise suppression off. Okay. I'll try this. Let me pause the music for a second. And I'll move the mic closer too. That would probably help. Oh, let me try again. Pick slit. I got it perfect the first time. There we go. Cute instrument. Thank you. Yeah, this is a coral pink jazz master. Oh, sorry, shell pink, I think it's called. I do love jazz masters, which does go into the goth thing because goths love jazz masters. I don't recognize it, but great job. Thank you very much. But yeah, so well, let's tie into the stream title, and I feel like this is something I get into pretty often, but it's going to talk about mental health stuff. So yeah, yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, like I've been working on a new video, but I've had some struggles, basically finding motivation for it. A lot of that is basically being just because, like, I've had like sort of, I mean, I define myself as being depressed, again, and I go back and forth from most of my life, and I do recognize the episodes. I'm not necessarily the type to, like, go hide under the bed sheets or anything else when stuff like this happens. I just accept it for what it is and try to act upon it. So yeah, I spoke to my therapist about it quite a bit. And, part of it has been that it's affected my motivation with working. I find that a lot of the times, like, my psyche isn't compatible with this job in many ways. And this isn't me, setting up a prelude of quitting or anything like that. But, it is when all of your work is contingent on the amount of people who watch your content online, the amount of people who support you financially through whether that's being a patron or a channel member or someone that leaves a tip, whatever it might be, just throwing money at me in some kind of way just to say keep going. When that is not as, I guess, substantial as one would hope to justify the amount of work that you're putting into something, it becomes a very disheartening experience. Now, I'm not going to deny that even though my views aren't exactly stellar, I'm sure that there are, thousands, if not millions of people on YouTube that would kill for a video with 20,000 views or whatever. But when you get to a point where it's like, this is my career now, I have decided it's going to be my career because I happen to have a windfall of engagement at one point. When you find that that isn't very much substantial anymore, when YouTube revenue doesn't sustain you, when you're losing patrons, when you feel like support is drying up, that's when it can, like, take a hit. And as I've mentioned recently, like, my therapist and I have explored the idea of me having rejection sensitivity, which ties into this stuff very closely if you know anything about it, because it's the kind of thing where you tie your self-worth into the perceptions of others. And unfortunately for this kind of work, your how other people perceive you, how other people wish to validate you, can literally be turned into numbers, whether that's through views, patron income, etc. Which, like I said, neither of those are particularly high. On Patreon, I think I get $310 per month, which, are very, very nice, and I do greatly appreciate every single person that pledges to me. I appreciate every single person who is a channel member, who helps me out in some kind of way. Anyone that, a stranger that goes out of their way to say, I like what you do, I'm going to offer you some support. And I appreciate those of you who support as well, who aren't able to help monetarily. I completely understand that. But yeah, with patrons, it is like a staggering thought for me to think like, wow, someone out there likes what I do so much that they're able to donate as much as like a subscription to a streaming service, which might not be an apt comparison these days since, they're getting so expensive. But, a streaming service with ad support, let's put it that way, which is still very, very nice. But, with those metrics tied into self-worth and everything, it becomes something that becomes a bit painful at times. And that has made it difficult to remain motivated. So with this upcoming video, there's probably going to be a larger gap between releases from the last one to this one. And I won't get into this stuff here, because what I plan to do is that I'm actually going to release a vlog style video talking about things that have been happening in my life, even outside of the YouTube stuff, because I've had some really awful news that I've had to contend with since the beginning of this year. Like the start of this year was a horrible start, and that is something that I will get into some minor details about in the Patreon video. But I'm also going to be making a video available to the public as well. I didn't want it to be one of those things that I post on YouTube because, some people don't really like those videos. And if you put a video out there that people don't like, then, that can fuck with your metrics and everything. So when you do release a full video, people are like, don't want to watch that because I didn't watch the last one. So yeah, I'll be putting it on Patreon. It will be free for people to see. I don't know if you'll need an account for it. I don't think you do, but more details will be there. But yeah. It's been a very rough year so far. And that kind of stuff as as you all know, like any kind of like external sources that cause some level of strife can have an adverse effect on every other facet of it. Part of it is trouble back in my homeland with my family. They've had some issues. Both my parents have had their issues, very serious ones. And, my wife, she's got ongoing health issues. Like she has fibromyalgia, Sjogren's, and it's made life very difficult for her. And her family as well, my in-laws, they've had troubles too. It's just been like troubles in every single corner of my life. And then I have to contend with the YouTube stuff. Like, how do I feel about that? How do I see my future in it? And if I ended up doing something like quitting one day, what the hell would I do afterwards? Because I've had such awful experiences with the workplace. I don't think I can work full time in a regular workplace anymore. So what comes next is a terrifying thought for me. And this isn't my way to try and nudge you into offering financial support or anything like that. I'm very grateful for you all being here. These streams, even though they don't bring in a massive audience, I'm grateful for the presence of every single one of you. I really am. It means a lot to me when I have a decent turnout because it means I have more people to talk to. And even though, it might not mean that I'll get a very intimate level of communication with a viewer, at least on an individual level, I try my best. And I try my best just to hold it together, really. And since the beginning of this year, that's become increasingly more difficult. But yeah, like I said, I will get into, I don't want to make the stream all about that. I do want to try and have some fun with you all. But yeah, that's sort of been a brief insight as to what's been going on for the past 6 months. Hopefully things will improve. There are a couple of things that are in the air that could potentially get better or potentially get worse. And obviously I try not to be a glass half empty kind of person and hope for the best. And, as I've said, I speak to a therapist. I'm very fortunate that I get to speak to one. I've been trying to work through things with them. I'm going to speak to my psychiatrist soon, try to get back on antidepressants. Right now I take a mood stabilizer called Lamictal, and I have Klonopin in case I have anxiety spikes. But I feel like I need to get back onto full-fledged antidepressants like citalopram, Prozac, whatever. I'll try, because I've never really had a good history with them where they end up giving me a lot of anxiety as a byproduct, as a side effect of it. So it's not great to tolerate. But yeah. And yeah, some things have gotten better. Camus is doing a lot better now. He's still a mess, but he's living a good life. He's not as down as he was. So, but yeah, like I said, I try to remain positive about things. I approach life with this mentality of things happen and we are constantly changing. We are constantly having to deal with changes. But life is just a long series of getting acclimated to new normals. Things happen, things change the way you live. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Sometimes things goes away, sometimes things stay around. And when they stick around, you just acclimate to this new normal. Try to be more comfortable with it, comfortable with yourself, and comfortable within your place within a grand scheme of all of these situations. And, you know, I try to also live by the idea that just like when these things happen, it is what it is. Like, whether it sucks or not, you just simply have to accept it and then try and make things better for yourself and the other people involved. It is what it is. And, you know, there was a time in the past where I saw that as a very defeatist statement. These days, no, I don't think so. I think it's a method of survival in a way. I think it's a method of not seeing things as the worst thing they could possibly be. Because what are your options, really? Get used to the new normal or be angry at it. Be upset. Curse every single day that you live because you're the one that has to put up with this stuff. And I'm not a believer also as well, like, because people always like use that thing where they say, well, you know, things could be worse. There are people worse off than me. In fact, my mother, like, she, for the longest time, was one of those people that, like, whenever she'd feel terrible, like if she had, like, you know, if she was upset about something or something bad happened, she'd always like say to herself, like, oh, I shouldn't be upset because there's people worse off than me. And that's a terrible mentality to have. I've spoken to her about it, and thankfully she's changed the tune on it. Because, you know, I put it out logically for her and said, like, well, if you take that approach where you can't allow yourself to respond to something emotionally, it means that the person below you, mood-wise or happiness-wise, can't too. And then you keep going down that cycle until you find the unhappiest person in the world in the worst of circumstances. And yeah, you know, you saying people have it worse off than me, so I shouldn't feel bad. That means that one person in the world is obligated to openly feel shitty, which, you know, isn't great. But yeah, like I said, I'll you know, try to wrap it up a bit here, and I'll make the vlog for Patreon, which, you know, I'll probably release either near the end of this week or the beginning of next, whatever. But yeah, we should just continue with the rest of the stream. Thank you very much for hearing me get these things off my chest. I might make a compilation video in the meantime just to fill in the blanks for the algorithm. I don't know what it would be because I guess I'd have to find like 3 or 4 videos that have some relation to each other, just for something to put on in the background if people want to kill time or have something to, you know, fill the silence if you're so inclined. But we'll see. But I do want to take a bit more time with this video, just so I can contend with life, really, because I find that, you know, the more I end up pushing myself to power through things, the worse I end up feeling about it. And, you know, ultimately I don't want to end up feeling like I'm just phoning it in or something, because I know that people can tell when I'm phoning it in. As much as I like to put on that front, that, like, yeah, I'm invested in this, let's go. You know, I think people can tell, like, when I've done a video and I'm just like, I'm not too into this. And I don't want people to think of me as a phony. Let's say that at the very least. But anyway, yes, thank you for taking the time to hearing me whine. Alright, let me look through what you all had to say. On whether people see it and like it. You have ADHD, and that comes with rejection sensitivity. That makes sense. Yeah, and it's a hard thing to explain. It's kind of like rejection sensitivity, I found, is one of those things, like, I haven't obviously spoken about it very long, and, you know, I don't tell a bunch of people about it. But whenever you explain it to people, I think it's one of those things where people hear it and think like, well, everyone has that. But yeah, rejection sensitivity is a particular thing. It's not just like how crappy it feels to have like someone turn you down for a date or something like that. It's far more potent. It's omnipresent. It does sound like a tough job, even the process of making videos. Even if the process of making videos is fun, that's only part of it. It is, yeah. There are many facets to it that can influence how you feel about it and feel about yourself too. It honestly does sound tough. I don't think I could do it. I would not recommend being a YouTuber for most people. Yeah, it just, if you want to do YouTube for fun and you can continue having fun, that's great. You're a winner in that case. Even if you're not earning a bunch of money, you're a winner. And you know, I would have hoped this whole thing would have been smooth sailing from day one, but turned out it wasn't. And it turned out when you do have something like rejection sensitivity, anxiety, etc., it doesn't mesh very well with a job like this. You are priority one, I am employed again. You are priority once I am employed again. Well, like I said, any level of support that anyone can offer, whether it is, you know, doing the typical YouTube engagement bullshit, or sharing a video, whatever, you know, the free stuff which everyone can do, that stuff, always appreciated, always helps. And of course, you know, support over Patreon, channel members, whatever, any monetary support is especially helpful. But you know, support of any kind is what I'm trying to say, is like, all of it is important. But I appreciate you saying that, Ari. Greatly appreciated. Oof, sometimes life does throw everything at you. Yeah, and it has. Like, this is one of those cases. Like, you know, I've had a few of these situations in my life where it just feels like one thing after another. But the one thing after another in this situation has been like, you know, it's not just been like a few stones thrown my way. It's been fucking buildings thrown at me. I've had a streak of bad years. It happens, yeah. But once again, I think that's just like the time where you have to adjust to the new normal. The normal may not be great, but, you know, there is a way to find comfort in it, I think. I'll pray for you and your family. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that sentiment. It's very kind of you. I finally started to even out taking antidepressants, and that's my hope as well. You know, like I said, I'm not super keen on the idea of taking antidepressants again, just because side effects are pretty powerful with me. But at the same time, I also recognize that, like, I have to try something beyond what I'm doing right now. Therapy is great. Therapy has been wonderful in helping me cope with these situations, but therapy has its limits too. You know, that's why mental health professionals always recommend therapy alongside of medications. Good to you have a therapist though. It won't fix all your problem, but good to have that ongoing relationship. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I know that I'm very lucky and fortunate to have a therapist in my life that I can see regularly. So yeah, I'm very glad that I have that. And she has been a wonderful therapist. And I'm sure she's tolerated a lot of my bullshit. Because God, do I like... As you all well know, I love going on tangents, and that applies to therapy too. I've spent God knows how many sessions explaining weird philosophical concepts. I have schizoaffective, so I know the feeling of anxiety, and I take Klonopin too, but things will turn around. Yeah, like I say, even if it ends up being a new normal, things turn around in some kind of way. Positive mental attitude does go a long way. And you know, like I said, the Klonopin, it is helpful when things get a little bit too tough. Sometimes if I find it difficult to sleep, I'll end up just like taking half, which is like 0.25 milligrams, just to get me over that edge, I guess. But yeah, anxiety has always been, I guess, the omnipresent threat to my mental health. But, you know, I got to be mindful of the depression side too. There's a good time and place for being angry at the circumstances of the world. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you are allowed to. I think a lot of us tell ourselves that we're not allowed to, or there are other people that are worthier than us of being angry. And you know, anger does serve a purpose. A lot of people say that it doesn't, and it is good to keep your anger under control. Absolutely, you know, that's why anger management is a thing. But you know, anger is a perfectly normal human reaction. We just got to be mindful of it, really. Suffering is not a finite source that we all need to share, but so is joy. That is true. And you know, suffering, sadness, it all helps make the joy that much more sweeter. Stream highlights might be fun. Yeah, I've considered that. It would require a lot of combing through it. And I don't know what would qualify as a highlight, to be honest with you. Maybe I can go through the baking stream stuff. I feel like, you know, when it comes to stream highlights, when other people do it, it's always like the zany shit. But for me, like, I don't have any zany shit. Like, I just have very dry jokes. Very dry jokes, which don't even warrant an LOL from some people in the chat. Got a floaty hair there. I feel the same lately. Yeah, it's God, you know. And I feel like most of the world has experienced depression of some sort at some point. Where are you going, Curie? "2023 was good for me, but 24 has been full of ups and downs, and I fear I haven't seen the worst of it yet." You know what? There is a chance that you haven't seen the worst of it. That is true. But the worst of it isn't the be-all and end-all. There is an after the worst of it. You know, things get worse before they get better. And it's not the worst of it that you shouldn't fear the worst of it. You should look forward to when things get better. You know, that's the stuff to focus on, really. Just like people say all the time, all things pass. And it's true that it does. I mean, when I was, you know, going through the worst points in my life, like when I was talking in that Doomer video, I was so focused on how terrible things felt there and then, and saw it as my forever. Like, this is just the natural state of my being now, that I found it impossible to focus on how anything could possibly get better, or what was already good in my life. So yeah, there's always a potential for things to get worse, but there is a potential for things to get better too. And that's why you have to keep your mind on, and working on making things better for yourself. And part of that means making things better for other people too. You get back what you put out there a lot of the time. I mean, part of, like, you know, obviously, you know, we're married, but, you know, I make sure to make my wife's life as comfortable as possible while she deals with so much discomfort. Because, you know, if she's sad, that makes me sad too. Like, I wouldn't want her to feel that way. I wouldn't want her to struggle or anything. I love my therapist. She's my hype man. That's great. You know, it's always good to have that cheerleader. I can't get culturally competent therapy. That's why I've leaned into Buddhism so hard. I think it saved my life, to be honest. You know, that I understand that because, like, the first therapist I had when I moved to America, I ended up moving on from because
It was the therapist that I had was I think she was like in her mid-70s. She was a black woman in her mid-70s, and I already have, being a British person living in America, I already have a barrier in place when it comes to like culturally translating things, and I have to explain a lot of things, and it's made even more complicated by being a YouTuber, because you know, older people do not get the idea of being a YouTuber or how it can be a job. They just see it as like people making videos on the internet, and I can understand that. But I ended up having to move on from this therapist just because I found that there were so many hoops to jump through when it came to actually making things make sense and explain like the cultural anxieties that I had by being in another country, etc. But there was also one moment that made me realize, this isn't a good fit. And that was when I was actually talking about my anxieties with capitalism. Like I said, that part of the reason I find it hard to go back into the workplace is because I absolutely despise the thought of having my time and labor exploited by a company, corporation, etc. So like there are very few contexts where I can accept something like that, because I value my time so highly. Even if I use that time doing nothing, I value that time so highly because it is a finite, precious resource, and I'll be giving it to someone who is more than happy to steal it from me. I said, so how can I be okay doing that, like giving up that time and my labor to someone? And obviously there's no answer to that. Like, I accept that there is no answer to it, because it is what it is. You don't volunteer into a capitalist system, you're a part of it. But then like the moment I realized that this isn't going to work out was when she basically just said to me, try not to think about it. And you know, I thought like, well, that is a bullshit response. I don't think therapists should be saying something like that as advice in general. And that was a point where I'm like, okay, you know, this ain't gonna work out. And then I found another one. She was a similar age to me, and it worked out great. So yeah, I know like a lot of people out there, like they've not had great experiences with therapists. Like they felt like they couldn't talk to them, or you know, they just weren't getting anything out of it. If you're able to, and you're not particularly happy with your therapist, find another one. Like, a lot of people get stuck into this mindset that therapists are like one size fits all. Like, but they are people as well, with their own outlooks and opinions, etc. Like, they have their individual biases. Therapy isn't just one playbook that they all pull from. So yeah, if you ever find yourself that you're having difficulty with a therapist, or they're not a right fit for you, please just try and find another one. Sometimes, you know, if you're in like a health system, you can contact their offices or whatever, and you know, just say like, you know, hey, I feel like I'm not gelling very well with this therapist. Could you possibly find me another one that I might prefer? And just keep trying, you know, because a lot of people, they start therapists, they'll go to like 3, 4, 5 sessions, they won't get immediate results. You know, therapists don't start out by asking you like, you know, oh, how's your relationship with your father, or anything like that. It takes a good few sessions for you to get into the nitty gritty, unless you're very, very open. But you know, some people do those few sessions and think, it's not working, I'm not happy yet. And you know, I think part of that is just because they don't have a very compatible therapist. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, just because like, that's a thing that's always bothered me. A lot of people just write off therapists just thinking like, I tried 4 or 5 sessions and it didn't work, so therapy mustn't be for me. This year has been going well for me, and I'm afraid to say that because it can feel like there's an impending doom to follow up with feeling so good. I get that feeling, yeah. I understand that. And, you know, I think, you know, just as the flow of life goes, like, things can either get better or they could get worse. And that's why it's more important to focus on when things are good, really. But I'm glad to hear things are going well for you. You don't hear that often enough these days from people. Even if the year goes sideways, though, these 6 months have been life-changing nonetheless. They have very much been life-changing. They are eye-opening, to say the least. I can always comb through stuff on the live stream. I'd appreciate that, yeah. That would be nice. Because, yeah, I have very little patience for watching me. So you have some very funny moments. I'm often too busy with laughing to type. I appreciate that, yeah. I know, like, not everyone says LOL, and, you know, they might be doing a sensible little chuckle to themselves instead of writing it down. I appreciate that. But I appreciate being told I'm funny. I used to be a stand-up as a job, so I would hope I'm funny. I don't find myself funny, though. I wouldn't watch me tell jokes live. Ew. Halloween baking stream was my favorite. That was a lot of fun, yeah. Even though I did set a fire, albeit briefly. I'm sure when the next holiday comes around, I'll do another baking stream themed around that. Not a July 4th one, no. That's election day. You have no idea, you know, speaking of cultural misunderstandings, you have no idea how many times that Americans have asked me, a British person who once, you know, occupied the country and the Americans fought for independence against, have asked me, a British person, whether the British celebrate July 4th. It's like, I can't think of a more, like, insular mindset that would make someone think something like that. Like, you know, oh, surely the rest of the world celebrates our holidays, right? Like, I don't know, do you celebrate, like, independence from other countries or anything like that? Do you celebrate Independence Day for Ghana or anything? They have that? Yeah, you say that as if dry humor isn't like the best. Dry humor is the best. I do love it. I'm a mix of my humor is just a mix of extremely dry humor that might make you, might need you to take a moment just to, you know, put the pieces together, and then completely crass, childish humor. That is my blend, and I think I make them work together well, you know. Things started going downhill for me after I lost my job last year, but in 2024, I'm excited. I'm happy again, and I'm thanking God for it. It cleaned me up. It cleaned me up well. That's great. Yeah, you know, all these changes happen eventually. It's just about having the patience for it, pushing through the difficult times, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. And when you push through, you do what you can to make it easier for yourself. You two are such a team. Well, thank you. We try our best, my wife and I. Thank you for that, Salari. My current way to cope is just not to think too much about the future at all. Yeah, focus on the present, you know? There's that cheesy saying, there's a reason it's called the present, because it's a gift to us all. But, yeah, you know, it is good to focus on the present. The future, who knows what may come. You can't predict it. And even if you tried, you probably fail anyway. And if you predict the bad things that come, then well done. You've just spent time making yourself potentially that more miserable. But yeah, the present is great. The present always needs its... I think the present needs the greatest share of attention compared to the past and the future. The past influences our present, but the future has yet to come. And even though the past influences our present, we can work on that, you know? I'm Afro-Indigenous and a religious minority with a foreign spouse. I just cannot be bugged looking for one. I get that, yeah. And for stuff like that, you kind of have to, like, I guess, experiment, really. But with therapy, like, that can be an exhausting experiment, so I can't blame you there. My last therapist, I tried to explain generative AI to her. God, they must really be out of touch if they haven't heard about that. That must have been a fun exercise. My last therapist was awesome about my anxiety, but was super weird about me being a lesbian. I didn't even try coming out as non-binary to her. Yeah, that's a red flag right there. Yeah. If any therapist, like, was not accepting of, like, you know, gender fluidity or obviously, you know, not being straight, just being queer, then, yeah, for that, I'd be kind of like, I'd probably end up, like, asking them directly, like, I mean, I'm not saying that you should do this, absolutely not. You know, I understand this different stances and everything, but I feel like if I was in that kind of position, I'd probably end up, like, asking directly. Because I've done that in the past with other therapists, like, I kind of need to know that, like, I'm not going to have any kind of major ideological conflicts. Like, one thing, for example, that I hope from any medical professional is that they don't like the healthcare system in the US. Like, they are against the idea of paying for healthcare and it not being universal. And I've managed to have, like, conversations with, like, my doctor, my dentist, my optician, like, my therapist, my psychiatrist, and I've, like, at some point figured out, like, their stance on it. Because I feel like if I was going to see someone that was just, like, in it for the money and thought that the amount of money the industry brings into them is a great thing, fuck that. I don't want to see them. Like, I'm not. I remember I actually went to a dentist a couple of years back because I needed some work to be done, and I went to them because I was, like, referred to them by another dentist I went to because I wanted to get fillings with nitrous oxide. I went to them and, like, it was this weird situation where I went to my current dentist. They did the full checkup and cleaning on me, and then I went to this dentist that I was referred to shortly thereafter, and they insisted on doing a checkup and cleaning as well, even though it hadn't been that long ago. So they went through it, and then they ended up doing this, like, gum density test where they, like, I don't know if you've ever had it before, but it's awful because they just basically poke all around your gums with a horrible a horrible tool. And, like, bear in mind, like I said, I'd been to my other dentist and had, like, a clean bill of health apart from, like, this, you know, work that needed to be done. They said nothing about the gums, but then I went to this dentist, they checked it out, and they said, like, basically that my gums are a complete mess and that I need to have deep cleanings from here on out now. And so, like, they arranged the appointment with me, but I thought, like, that's kind of bullshit, because this is the same place that was trying to convince me to use their fucking spa services that was attached to the business, like it was part of it. Like, oh, go to the dentist, then visit the spa afterwards. I don't want to visit a spa when I go to the dentist. Just do my goddamn teeth. I don't need any of that shit. That kind of upselling I cannot stand from medical practices in the US. So that to me was the red flag. So I booked the appointment to have the deep cleaning. I looked into deep cleaning and it horrified me. And I'm sure if any of you have had a deep cleaning, you know how awful it is. So I was dubious at this point. And I ended up I waited for a bit and then I cancelled the appointment. And then I ended up going to see my original dentist again. And I went through the checkup. They checked everything out, you know, my teeth, my gums, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't tell them about that last dentist yet. So they looked it all up, you know, they did the check and everything. And then at the end of it, I asked them, how are my gums, by the way? And the dentist just said, yeah, they're perfectly fine. They look healthy. I don't see any discoloration or anything. Yeah, they're okay. And I was like, it's funny you say that, because that dentist that you referred me to, basically said that they're a complete mess and I need deep cleanings for the rest of my life now. And the dentist, my, you know, main dentist, just had this look on the face. It was like, I don't know about that. But I'm glad that they were on my side because, yeah, I had my suspicions that they were trying to get a bit more out of me. But that's what you get when you have a healthcare system that is run on trying to get money out of patients, turning patients into customers. It's reprehensible. Yeah, fuck those people. If you want purpose in your work life, become a plumber or work in a sewerage plant. You know what? I probably wouldn't mind a manual labor job. Maybe being something like a handyman or something. I'm pretty good at working with my hands. I wouldn't mind starting up a bakery, to be honest, but setting up a business is exceptionally expensive, especially a bakery. And boy, do food industries, like if you open a business in the food industry, like whew, that's a roll of the dice right there. Yes, work feels meaningless. It has little to no bearing on my real life, and I'm giving all my time. We all are, and try not to think about it is all we do. Yeah, I mean, that's just a basic survival mechanism. It doesn't work either. My new one specializes in LGBTQ plus care, and it's been great. That's excellent, yeah, because that's another thing you should look out for when looking for a therapist too. A lot of them do say, like, if they have a listing online of like their work and everything, more and more therapists these days actually specialize in LGBTQIA plus patients, which is, you know, incredible that there's more in those about. My wife's been looking for a therapist recently. She even found a therapist. I can't remember exactly what the phrasing was, but the therapist specifically like brought up like something like can help people deal with the anxieties and capitalism, like specifically name checking how shitty capitalism was. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before. But maybe that's a sign that those anxieties are becoming so much more commonplace that it's being brought up by therapists. Funnily, a lot of Buddhist monks and priests were therapists, so the Sangha has a lot of support. Oh, I did not know that. But I guess that makes sense, you know. Trying to contend with the idea of inner peace. I guess therapists will be the closest to being able to understand something like that. You know, every time I have a psychiatry session, I somehow feel better the day I talk to him, and I don't have problems at all. That is, yeah, I mean, that's when you know that it's working, really. You know, you feel like you've got something lifted after a session. Alright, Dio, I think I may have missed you since once again I'm horribly behind. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Always appreciated. And take care, okay? You'll do better. Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it a present. That's the one. Thank you very much, Ari. My first gum graft was done by one of those dentists who was in it for the money. Ugh, God. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe dentists that are in it for the money, just like, you know, the gum's the gold mine. $3,000 out of pocket to get some of my teeth rearranged because the graft was so bad. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, because with my thing as well, like the deep cleaning thing, they said that it would be... I'd have to come in for 2 sessions to do 1 complete cleaning, and instead of every 6 months, it would be every 3 months. I'm like, fuck that. No chance in hell. And like I said, I got referred to that dentist because I wanted to get the nitrous oxide while getting my work done. Because, you know, I hate the dentist. It gives me so much anxiety. But I was so pissed off with this dental practice that I just went back to my current dentist and said, fuck it, just do the fillings. I'll survive without the nitrous oxide. I'll just take a Klonopin before I come in. And you know, the biggest disappointment was being on nitrous oxide is fun as hell. Like, you got someone there, a medical expert giving it to you. Like, yeah, I'll take that opportunity. It's better than like doing a whippet and making a hole in my brain or something. First time I took nitrous oxide for a dentist was in the old place where we lived in another city. And one of the best days of my life. I had to get like 4 fillings done. Took nitrous oxide. I did not give a shit the entire time. I was like, this is great. Apparently, I don't remember much, but apparently the dentist told me that I kept interrupting the work that they were doing, so I could tell them dad jokes. I'd just go like, one second, what do you call, and yeah, apparently they loved it, so I'm lucky there. I didn't piss them off too much. It's like, you're never coming back here. We're never giving you nitrous again. I have one, but I bluntly told her I was done with my Invisalign. What, did they want to keep you on it or something? Oh, she argued and I said no. Oh, okay. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, if you want to give up on it, that should be the patient's call, really. I had a deep cleaning twice. It was because I hadn't gone to the dentist in like 3 years. See, if it's like after a long wait, then I can kind of see that. But I had been seeing a dentist regularly when they told me this. And it was the fact that, you know, I'd been to another dentist just before this appointment. They said absolutely nothing of my gums. And then I go to this new dentist and they're saying like, your gums are shit. You need that stuff cleaning immediately. That was just the red flag there. I was like, okay, why? Either the dentist I saw before this isn't doing their job properly, or these guys are pulling one. Like, these guys are trying to pull a fast one. And I was right in that they were pulling a fast one. That's why when I went to see that second dentist, my original dentist, that's why I didn't want to bring it up, because I didn't want to influence this person's opinion on it, whether that is, you know, them aligning with them or disagreeing with them. I just wanted their unfiltered opinion on my gums before I revealed them. But yeah, I've heard of deep cleanings and they do not sound fun at all. Thank God I've never needed one yet. I needed a deep cleaning after not going for a bit, but I use a paste now, so I don't need to do that anymore. That's good. It also helps to have like a good electric toothbrush too. That's what I've found. Like we have a Sonicare, Philips Sonicare, which it's not like one of the super fancy $300 models. I think I got ours for like $70 on sale. It was like usually $100, but it's great. Like, teeth feel unbelievably clean afterwards. And yeah, it's good to have a good toothpaste too. Don't just use whitening, you know, use stuff that's actually like gum health kind of thing, sensitive teeth if you have that. I sure hope my new therapist is chill. My wife's first therapy session in a while is next week. They sound very chill. Plus, yeah, my wife's therapist is trained in EMDR, which I don't know how to explain it exactly, but you might want to Google it. But it's a very, very interesting form of therapeutic treatment, which apparently there is a ton of science behind, and you wouldn't think it would be, because it's kind of like these things. It's like a treatment where you have to like, it's like trying to like retrain the brain or the neural pathways or something, where you have to like move your eyes around, like make contact with different parts of your body, like using tapping and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of people have said like EMDR. My therapist actually recommended finding someone that has EMDR, because one of the big things about it is that apparently it works absolute wonders for people who suffer from trauma, PTSD. It makes it so that like they still are aware of it. Obviously it doesn't just erase the memory, but it makes it so that they can be more mindful of it, and it feels less intense during moments where they would otherwise experience it. But yeah, it almost sounds too good to be true, but I trust my therapist when she says that it's an incredible thing. If my therapist knew it, I'd absolutely give it a try. Wonder if there's any way that you could sell your baked goods on a small scale, a side hustle. There might be, but once again, it's kind of like an energy question, like how much can I muster up to do something like that on the side? I may give it a shot someday, like maybe like make cakes or muffins or cupcakes, whatever. Set up like a Squarespace page or whatever, and, you know, try and work with that, but we'll see. I'm disturbed by how expensive it is to have maintenance on your teeth. It is appalling, yeah. Even in the UK, it's pretty damn expensive too. And a lot of dentists there have become money-grubbing arseholes who switch their practice from being NHS to private. Because, yeah, dentists there in the UK are shit. Did I ever share my childhood dentist story on here? If any of you remember, please let me know. It is a doozy. I picked up Salari from that appointment after I had the nitrous oxide. Saw them walking Salari to the bathroom with him just laughing endlessly. That is true, yeah. I needed to go for a bathroom break in the middle of the procedure. And the young woman assistant who was like helping me, like keeping me balanced as I was walking, I was just fucking losing my mind laughing. I remember that part well. And I can't remember if she was like smiling at it or looked really annoyed. But I also remember like during like the whole procedure, I kept like apologizing, saying like, I'm sorry if I've been offensive. And according to them, I didn't like say anything offensive at all, but it was like I just kept apologizing for it. Maybe in the back of my mind, I'm subconsciously worried about getting cancelled. Good luck. Then I got 3 more gum grafts for a total of 3,000 again from a better doctor. One of those also didn't work, so I got the next one free. God, Birdie, you go through a never-ending parade of health issues. But I'm glad you were able to get it done. My electric toothbrush died. Ah, that sucks. But yeah, even like a basic electric toothbrush I think is better than a manual one. Now my gums are hardcore as hell. I'd hope so after all of that. All the staff were laughing. Okay, that's good. You know, even if people are laughing with you or laughing at you, at least you're getting them to laugh, you know? It's the best medicine. Actually, no, laughter isn't the best medicine. Nitrous oxide is the best medicine. I speak from experience. Alright, so I'm going to have another quick break before we start wrapping up. I'll just be about 2 or 3 minutes. I need to spray my nose with some moisturizer because it is very dry right now. Ketamine's pretty great too. Yeah. Hey, if the horses like it, they can't be wrong. Yeah, there's a clip. Yeah, there we go. The best medicine of all. Ketamine mixed with nitrous oxide. Now available at Walgreens. Anyway, I'll be right back in about 2 or 3 minutes or so. Maybe 4 if I'm feeling a little bit spicy. But yeah, stick around and we shall continue whatever we're talking about. I don't know. Just stick around, okay? Alright, see you soon.
Alright, I am back. And you saw Curie during a break, that's nice. Alright. Let me catch you up. Oh yeah, what kind of... So you got a TikTok ad? What other ads do you get? How often are the ads on YouTube? Because, yeah, Twitch is a bit more open about when the ads happen, but YouTube's a little bit, eh. But YouTube does have some pretty terrible ads. Sometimes when my wife watches my videos on a phone, like, she gets some obscenely long ads on there. I'm on the official app for stream, but I use another the rest of the time. The ads are infuriating, and even the FBI recommends ad blocking. Yeah, that's true, yeah. It's one of those things where, I remember that was brought up when the ad blocker apocalypse ended up kicking in. I've been very fortunate in that I never got that notification from YouTube saying that we're bypassing ad blockers now. So it never ended up working for me. My wife got it, but yeah, for me, I never had an issue with it or anything. Although I know right now, like, if you use uBlock Origin or something like that, that'll block ads. Like, they managed to get past the YouTube ad blocking, which is no surprise because there are lots of people out there who are very clever at that stuff that will figure ways around it. And there's no way I'd want to pay for YouTube Premium. Although, if you do use YouTube Premium, I do get more revenue from that, so... I'm kidding, don't get YouTube Premium just to get me more revenue. Apparently the little floaty emotes to the right of that chat counts as engagements if you all ever want to spam that sometime. I did not know that. Yeah, spam the fuck out of them then, go for it. I just saw that when I was looking at the metrics the other day. Huh. There was a huge spike when people spam those. Yeah, open up one of those softwares that constantly clicks things. Sounds like Peanuts. The music. Oh, gotta hype this. Fantastically Mario / Peanuts sounding jazz. I think I missed that track. Oh yeah, last time I did the stream, the baking stream, I used a playlist on Spotify which claims that it was royalty-free / YouTube friendly kind of playlist. Bullshit. I got an email very quickly after the stream ended, an automated email from YouTube saying that 11 of those tracks had been flagged as having a copyright on them. It didn't give me a strike or anything, but I've never had that many copyright claims on a video before. It was obscene. And I wish that I could report that playlist on Spotify because, like, okay, this is bullshit. But yeah, it was one of those things, like, because sometimes, like, if I have a playlist, like, sometimes I might get a thing popping up that was on, like, if it was on like a ad, like if it was on like a be right back screen, sometimes I'll get a thing saying that, you know, here's a track that you used. But yeah, this was like throughout the whole video, so I couldn't even remove them. Just took a hit. And you know, streams don't get like a ton of revenue anyway. But still, it's, you know, not great to see. OMG, I need a coffee again, I can't stop yawning. I used to drink coffee constantly, which is not good because apparently you're supposed to have like a few cups, like 2 or 3 cups that you're supposed to drink slowly throughout the day, whereas I would just like mainline it. I would have it like 6-7 times a day or something like that, back to back, which apparently is terrible for your energy levels. Now I stick to tea, English breakfast tea. I'm streaming this on 2 devices. Oh, thank you. I wonder if that counts as 2 views. Victory, successfully returned from break. Yes, I'm a winner. I used to pay for premium, so it's offensive to me that they forced it. It is a bit grotesque, yeah, that they force people to pay for premium to get no ads. Honestly, you know, like I said, I use an ad blocker. I absolutely do not begrudge anyone for using one when watching my videos. If they wanted to be extra nice and whitelist my videos, then, you know, very, very kind of you. But, you know, if someone tells me, hey, I watch your videos with an ad blocker on, that's fine. I don't care. Like, I watch all my videos with an ad blocker on. I hate ads. No, who likes ads? Got a hot, but the stream was fun. Thank you for having it. And Vertex, thank you very much for being here. Hope to see you again. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm glad that you're able to show up. Take care for the rest of your day. Epidemic Sound, they should sponsor you. Epidemic Sound, yeah, they're one, even though, you know, obviously you can license their music and it's not as expensive as like full-blown licensed tracks. I once used a song of theirs which I thought was free to use on YouTube, and it turned out that it absolutely wasn't. I uploaded a video essay with it on, and it immediately flagged it. But you know, they have a good selection. I won't deny them that. uBlock Origin is broken at the moment. Really? I'm using it, and it's fine for me, unless I've missed something. It counted towards the overall activity of the chat, which I assume is engagement. Okay. See, I didn't even know that, like, the React things were, like, a thing that was tracked, to be honest with you. Drink coffee slowly? What? Yeah, it's, you know, it's about having a steady stream of caffeine instead of just one big, you know, one big intake of it. It's kind of just like slowly releasing, kind of like oats, for example. Like oats are supposed to be good for breakfast because they slowly release energy throughout the day, as opposed to giving you just one big one big release of energy or something. Funnily enough, I use my college thing, and instead of paying $15, I only pay $8. You know, I remember at one point on the site Fiverr, you used to be able to buy a college email, like a legitimate one. But I guess there was a crackdown on it because you just can't get them anymore. Because I wanted to use it for, you know, you can get lots of stuff at a really good discount. You can get like Amazon Prime, Creative Cloud by Adobe, music streaming services, video streaming services, and indeed YouTube Premium. But yeah, I have a friend that works at a school, and I asked them if they could possibly hook me up with an email, but yeah, it wasn't possible, sadly. LOL at Adobe. Yes, Adobe is being sued, and rightfully so. They're being sued by the US government because they make it far too difficult to cancel your subscription to them, which is very true. Like, there's all kinds of instances where people have to cancel their Creative Cloud subscription prematurely. Like, you know, sometimes they'll have to cancel it within like a couple months. Some people have had reports of saying that, like, they had to pay for 2 months additional of it. Well, like, you know, it's kind of like canceling a lease. Like, they say you have to pay 2 months of rent if you want to cancel early, which is bullshit.
But Adobe say stuff like, well, you have to pay 2 months on top of that if you want to cancel early. Also bullshit. But there's also been reports of people saying that they've been charged for the outstanding year of the subscription. So like, you have 2 months of a subscription. Hey, I want to cancel it. Suddenly they're being told, okay, well, if you want to cancel it, you have to pay for the 10 outstanding months. Which, if you know the price of Creative Cloud, it ain't cheap. But yeah, that is super bullshit. Adobe is scummy. Like, I won't lie, they make some good software, but as a company, their practices, whether that's subscriptions or them just like buying up and absorbing other creative companies, they're real scumbags in that respect. I remember YouTube saying once, if you send me $1, it makes me more than watching all of my video with ads on. That is 100% true. Yeah. I mean, that's why I have the chipping in tier of my Patreon. And even with that, it's way more of a contribution than watching. I can't even like average how much watching a video is. I mean, it depends on the length. But I think like watching a video, like a whole video with ads on, if I were to guess, it would probably be like, I don't know, like 3 cents, something like that. Like really pitiful amounts. Like, yeah, I know like everyone whines about YouTube revenue all the time, but believe me when I say it's a 100% legitimate complaint. Like, if you're raking in like 300,000, 400,000 views on a video, like you're fine. Like, it's not a full living wage or anything, but like, usually people that rake in that many views tend to have a healthy Patreon income to go with it. But like, you could not, if you were like a solo, if you were like a single person making YouTube videos with 400,000 views, you absolutely could not live you absolutely do not have a livable income with that, without Patreon, without sponsors. Yeah, it's bad. It's terrible. I'm heavy in cybersecurity. There's stuff going on with sponsor blocks. But I remember AdBlock Plus a little while back had like a whole controversy. But I haven't heard anything about the uBlock origin stuff. And then when you pay for those months, you don't get them. Yeah, that's true. Because, if you end up being in a position where it's like, oh, you have to pay 2 months extra, you have to pay 10 months extra. I mean, if you're paying, like, the outstanding amount for the year, what's the fucking point in even cancelling then? Like, why would you even offer to let someone cancel if they've just got to pay the whole sum anyway? And also, like, if someone's having to cancel their subscription prematurely, like, there is a very good chance that means that they're not in a position financially to be able to support paying it for the rest of the year. So it's dumb to ask them for more money out of it. Squire buddies. Yes, the Squire guitars these days are very, very well made. I had to do a bit of work on this to get it up to par when I first bought it, because they don't always come out of the box very well. But otherwise, it's a very solid guitar, and it wasn't really expensive at all. Google also laid off a lot of people. They should mind their P's and Q's. A lot of people having their Joker moment about that just now. Yeah, Google haven't really been in the best of positions recently, I will say. Trying to remember. No, never mind. That's fine. I flipped their office off every time I'm in San Jose. See, you have a healthy relationship with them. I don't blame you. I'd probably flip them off too. I'd go all around Silicon Valley flipping off every single person there, to be honest with you. My first stop would probably be wherever Elon Musk is laying his hat at that time. Your guitar sounds really good on your mic. That's kind of surprising. It's not mic'd up or anything right now. Maybe it's my technique. Good God, I can't remember anything. I may need to eat soon. I had to really remember that one then. Anyone recognize that one? I know the other one was a little bit more niche. Bohemian Rhapsody, that's the one, yes. And so... It's been a long time since I played this. Adobe has my wife in a professional chokehold, been stopping her going independent. How so? I mean, does she work as like a freelancer or something like that? Or is it through a business or something? I've been working on Wipeout right now, the song. Wipeout, how does that go? By the Safaris. What's this now? And for what? 24 views, pathetic. You're an Iranian, act like one, have the politics of one. Why don't you have the... just... what's the point? What do you mean, have the politics like one? Enlighten me. Tell me how to be a better human being. I'm sure you're very qualified to tell me, aren't you? Oh, I'm gonna get rid of him. I'm just curious, just to see, you know, how I can improve as a human being, stranger on the internet. Because I've got opinion. I don't know you very well, but already I have some suggestions on how you can be a better person, given your incredible first impression. Come on, I'll give you a minute. After that, we'll go through the process. We'll get you banned at that point. But yeah, give me your best shot first of all. We did the maths on the cost of Pantone, Illustrator, Photoshop, and that one video thing, and decided that we can't afford it. Yeah, that is a lot to pay for. That's the thing, like, being a creative is not cheap, like, just having the setup for it. And yeah, all that software and everything, like, the cost really, really mounts up. Trolls never expect to be challenged. That's true, yeah. But you know, figured I'd give it a shot. I'm guessing I'm getting no response here, so yeah. Oh wait, here we go. Like, even in the video, you can't help but make disclaimers about how something obvious being problematic, as if you'd be crucified or something. The breadtube genre is dying. I'm not a breadtuber, friend. I never said that I have been. And I never say that I will be. Breadtube isn't a genre. Yeah, breadtube is bullshit. Who gives a fuck? And you're still clinging to it. Then begging for Patreon nowadays. You are, bro, ideologically. No, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I consider myself like a leftist, but I'm not a breadtuber. And yeah, you know, Patreon is like how you actually make a living on this platform. You're pretty dense, you know, if you don't know that by now. What, do you expect us to be like ideologically pure and not ask for money, not take on sponsorships? You don't know how this job works, okay? If you think that people can survive on this platform without asking for Patreon, then okay, well, it's been fun. But I'm afraid that's where we end up drawing the line here. Have fun being extremely angry for the rest of your life. I'm sure it'll serve you extraordinarily well. And have fun, you know, being a bit dense as well. Sad thing is, you're Iranian, you clearly had to. Oh, you know what? You're really boring, you know that. We're just gonna remove you from here, or I can add you as a moderator. That's one of the options. Shall we do that too? All right, peace out. Let's see, who should I report from? They're harassing me. Sure, why not? God, what a pleasant fellow. I'm sure they're a lot of fun at parties. If they get invited to them. I doubt it. Why isn't there I see a timeout thing, but I don't see a ban. Do I have to like go out of my way to ban them? See, that was like one of those things where it's like, you know, as I mentioned earlier, like, you know, I've had people criticize me from my life for like, you know, I should be something like, you know, I mentioned earlier when we talk about the religion thing, like I've had people say you should be a Christian, but I've also had people say like you should be a Muslim because your dad is Muslim. And I've also had like people who like criticize me for not adopting more like Iranian / Muslim Islamic values. And you know, I don't have any grievances towards people who, you know, are Muslim or anything like that. That, like I said earlier, as long as you're not harming anyone, that's fine by me. But like I said, the values thing, like I've had a lot of people, like other Iranians, say that I've been too westernized and that because I'm part Iranian, that is an unacceptable thing. Fuck that. Like that's bullshit. I am who I am. My genetic makeup does not define who I am, and fuckers like that need to get that through their thick skull. Like, if you are defined by your nationality, if you're defined by your genetic makeup, you have no personal definition that way. You are just whatever you've been told to be. And do not go out there and tell people that you need to be like this. Like, nah, fuck that. And don't be dumb and tell people, oh, asking people for money on Patreon, oh, how can you debase yourself like that? Like, don't be fucking dumb. Like, that's how this job works at this point. That's like saying, like, if you went to your boss at your workplace to ask for your raise, whoa, you're debasing yourself asking for extra money for a job that you do. Like, yeah, sure, why not? Anyway, I am sorry if that ended up upsetting anyone there. I know I shouldn't indulge stuff like that, but it doesn't happen very often, and, you know, I won't lie, it's a little bit fun. I kind of wanted to wrap up the stream there, but I feel like that's a really horrible note to end it on. So we'll give it a few more moments. Wash the taste out of our mouths. The whole point of Patreon is optional. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you don't have to do it, and you're very, very lucky if you don't have to do it. You know, very few people out there can get away with it these days. Every time I pop my head in the dream ends, porque I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. But like I said, it's not the first time I've had to deal with criticisms almost identical like that. I don't get why I was criticizing someone for adopting Western values if the major talking point on the right concerning immigrants is them integrating as opposed to being assimilated. That is true, yeah. Yeah, that is one thing that they do get up in arms about very often. Like, you know, how dare you not adopt our values by living here? Like, you should know the language. You should be eating hot dogs. Not getting upset when someone's eating pork, which no Muslim has ever done. Yeah, it's such a bullshit thing. But yeah, saying that like I, you know, should be doing everything that an Iranian person does and rejecting Western values, like, fuck that. Do you realize how many Iranians enjoy things from the West in Iran? Like, a lot of them. Most of them, I would say. I gotta get going, but I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Rowan, thank you very much once again for being here. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I have enjoyed having you here. Take care. To be honest, I know a lot of Iranian people, and every single one is different. I don't know what that person even meant. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You know, we're all individuals. Like, thinking that you should just fall in line and be one thing, like, that's just like, that's thought police shit, you know? Well, I missed a discussion like this. Damn, definitely took should out of my vocabulary a long time ago. It was interesting, yeah. Like I said, don't get that very often. And that's the first time in a long while I've had someone saying that I should be ashamed for not being Iranian enough. Also, like, you know, even like if you take like the whole denying yourself of individuality thing, like saying that you should just be like your dad, fuck that. Do you realize how many flaws my dad has? I mean, he's not a bad person, but if I like took every page out of his book, like, I'd be a fucking mess by now. Just link bro the biracial video you made and call it a day. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thing that got him so upset. Because yeah, there were some people on there that had like similar sentiments of like you might be biracial and you might have different there were like those facets of your identity might have some kind of influence on who you see yourself as and how you operate in daily life. But there were some people that left comments just saying like, you know, that's not acceptable. You need to be just one of these things. Basically pick a side. And then there were people saying like, no, you don't get to choose any side. If you're a mix, then you're just invalid, which, you know, obviously is grotesque as opinions go. How about be Salari? Yeah, just I'm fine being me, even if it sucks sometimes. That could go on a t-shirt. But yeah, interesting experience. That guitar makes me nervous. I think I already read that. It's fine. I've propped up many a guitar in my time. I used to work at a guitar store with very limited space, and we got very creative there. A TV show I'm really into had an episode that explored this. Which show is that? It's curious. In fact, BoJack Horseman had something about that. It was Diane who was exploring her Vietnamese roots. I'll be sure to catch the next one earlier. Take it easy. No problem. Thank you very much for stopping by regardless, Surf. But yeah, in fact, I don't know if you're in the Discord, but if you want to get alerts for when I do go live, there's the link in the chat right now. If you fancy joining, if you just want to lurk, or if you just want to be there for alerts, that's perfectly fine by me. I should be more like my dad though. He's the most friendly to literally anyone, and despite graduating on a low level due to undiagnosed dyslexia, they didn't know back then about that stuff. He still had a huge career despite everything. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, my dad has his faults, but I think he's not a bad person, and he's a very personable guy as well. I think I was able to learn that from him, being able to talk to other people, being able to put myself out there, even though I did actually used to be extremely shy when I was younger. I am still pretty shy. Like, if you met me in real life, you'd probably think, oh, wow, he's quite different from what he is on stream. But yeah, like I got those useful skills from him as well, and he's never criticized me for not being Iranian enough. There are some parts where it's like, oh, I should have done better here. Like, he actually wishes that I did choose Islam, but you know, he accepts that that just didn't end up being the case. But yeah, yeah, you know, he has some good parts to him. And yeah, it does sound cool, Sumi. I want your dad as my dad. Oh, I get alerts you just start when I just get home. Oh, I see. I stare at the wall for an hour before I do anything else. Same right here. And wish for a better life. The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Is that the name of the show? I have never heard of that in that case. It's a very colorful title. But yeah, despite everything good or bad, never exactly try to be your parents. You be you. Take the good stuff and learn from their mistakes. Exactly. Yeah. You know, one of the difficult things about growing up is learning about the faults of your parents. Like, when you're a child, you see them as like these infallible, almost godlike human beings who can do no wrong. And then when you become a teenager and become an adult, you start witnessing all of these flaws. And some people don't recognize them as flaws. They still hold on to that image of them being great and then adopt those flaws themselves. But those who become a little bit more insightful and aren't brought up to worship their parents, because some parents do that. And I know my wife's laughing now because I just said doo-doo. But, you know, yeah, you learn from those mistakes. And you say, okay, well, I see these good parts. I see these bad parts. I won't do that. I will try my best not to do what my parents did there. I did catch it. Yeah, I know you did. You never miss whenever I say doo-doo. And I don't blame you. That's funny. Doo-doo is funny. Yeah, as for that person, I don't know. I think I might have to go into YouTube's dashboard to manually ban them. See, the thing is, I don't know what level of ban you give someone by just going through the options, because it just said hide user and report them, and timeout, which timeout the maximum was like 24 hours, which is like, is hiding from the channel the equivalent of banning? Might be. I'd have to look into it. It's, yeah, YouTube is still fairly new in those respects. I am slowly turning into my dad though. So long as it's not the bad parts, you know, we are the product of our parents. Those of us who grew up with our parents. And yeah, it's all about filtering the parts that you like out of them. And you know, thing about becoming your parents in certain ways. I think that's just like aging, really. Like, I'll know that I'm becoming like my dad, or I'm like uncomfortably close to being like my dad, if I ever start getting deep into World War II history. Because it feels like every man that grew up in the UK, as soon as they hit like 45, 50, like they suddenly get super into World War II history. And it's not just my dad, like I've seen loads of dads, like they have a stack of books about like the secret life of Hitler on the side of their bed, and like America's role in the war, or why the British could have won on their own. I'm completely making these up. But yeah, my dad did get to the point where he just had like a big stack of all of these World War II books. And then I one time went round to a friend's house, and I saw that they had this whole collection too. And I was like, is this a thing? And turns out it is. It's a Chinese anime, basically. Oh, okay. I mean, that'll be why I've not heard of it, because, yeah, can't say I keep up with that. But the Grandmaster of Demon Cultivation. I'll make a mental note of that. They got rid of blocking about 2 months ago, really? Huh. That's bullshit. I mean, so long as they can't post in the chat or comments, I guess I'm fine with that. I mean, maybe they're still watching this video. Hi, if you're still watching the video. Hope you're okay. Maybe try some herbal tea or something like that. Calm down a little bit, you know. Times are tough. Always found my mom to be so cool though. She started an internship at 17 years old at this elderly home and worked there till she retired herself. Never called in sick, and she worked full time for years when my dad was often jobless at the start. She was kind of the father. It was very admirable, yeah. And to be able to stick out a job like that for that many years, like, that's impressive. You don't hear about that often enough these days. My dad's worked the same job for all of his life, albeit in different capacities. My mother's always been a what's the proper term for it these days? I don't want to say housewife. It's not a housekeeper. Homemaker. Homemaker, that's it, yeah. She's always been that. Although she has had a few jobs here and there. She was a lunch lady at one point. And then at one point she worked in the legendary Greg's Bakery in the UK. Which, if you know anything about the UK, you should know about Greg's. Greg's is a magical place with magical baked goods. And they are everywhere in the UK. You can probably go down into the sewer system and you'll find a Greg's in the UK. They kind of referenced that in the Friday night dinner with, yeah, Friday night dinner is like sort of an allusion to that, and it's very true. They got that from somewhere, and that's it. That's just a men thing. Most of my family has this thing, and we're all Poles. Yeah, there we go. It's a middle-aged dude thing. Suddenly, just something trips, something flips on in their brain. It's like, wow, I'm suddenly really interested in World War II. My mom's a narcissist. I don't rate her. The only thing she gave me was trauma mostly. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that's, you know, it's good to recognize that kind of thing and respond to it. Because a lot of people just bury that stuff. They think to themselves like, family couldn't possibly give me trauma. No, family are like the main deliverers of trauma. You gotta identify and react. My mom's on the narcissistic personality disorder spectrum too, which traumatized me too, but as I grew up, I learned to understand she was ill. It's not her. Yeah, that's another really important part, because it's very easy to take it out on a person. And, you know, I've had like some serious mental illness stuff in the family, far more serious than what I go through. And yeah, it also I can think kind of depends on what the person does as well, because without getting into it, because this is something I do not want to openly share about, because it's, you know, It's not terrible stuff, but it's a terrible experience for my family. A family member of mine ended up like doing stuff which like truly was damaging, and even though, you know, she has some substantial mental illness problems, it was the kind of thing where it's like she couldn't be reasoned with or anything. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's those kind of situations where like a person has, despite the problems, they have to take some level of responsibility, and this person didn't. So yeah. Family trauma, wonderful thing, isn't it? It's almost something we all share. There's levels on that spectrum. I'm sorry if you... Oh, wait, sorry, you're addressing each other. That's fine. But yeah, there's a Douglas Copeland book. One of my favorite authors, a Canadian author, Douglas Copeland, and he has a book called All Families Are Psychotic. Highly recommend it. It's a very fun story, but it is kind of like one of those things that you look into and it's like, oh, you know, that's interesting. And it's sort of like applies that that common experiences that families go through, but through more like bombastic situations. Like I think the daughter is becoming an astronaut or something, but the family gets in the way of that, and it's not as dire as one might expect. But yeah, All Families Are Psychotic by Douglas Copeland. And if you're looking for something else good to read by Douglas Copeland, there is Generation A, which is a very, very good book. I won't spoil it at all. Look up a synopsis, but it's great. You can still read that one, Salari. It's generational. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. UND is still the best cat parent / family I've ever seen. You know, that reminds me, before we wrap things up, I will get some cat camera stuff. Let me see if my phone camera's working. Yeah. 1 second. I'll be stepping away from the microphone for a moment too. Okay. Okay. Oh no, you can see the terrible cables under there. One day I will organize it. Okay. Camus, I think I just woke him up accidentally. I turned on the flash on my phone because there's not much light over there right now. He's doing well now, thankfully. He has healed. He's just annoying. My family's full of addicts and broken people made me more compassionate. Yeah, you know, these experiences do help you form yourself into a better person through... And you know, you could be angry, but it's better to go the other way. And you know, it's good to hear that you chose the route of compassion instead. It's difficult to do. It's not the easiest road to travel down, but you know, once you're on it, it's better to stay on it. That's why I watch these streams where you get to share traumas and can be rewarded with cute cat content. Hey, come for the trauma, stay for the cats. He was very sleepy, yeah. I feel bad about it. I turned on the flash on the phone as well, just to get a bit of light on him, but yeah, poor cat. He's fine. He'll get plenty of food later on. Not gonna lie, it took me a while to remember the names, but it's worth the memory investment. Yes, Camus and Curie. That's the one, yeah. This one is Curie. Hello. And the one that we just bothered, that's Camus. So much fluff. An embarrassment of fluff, one might say. He's over it, he's purring. Yeah, he gets over stuff quickly. Please put those on Discord, I'm gonna forget the names. I'm pretty sure, yeah, my wife will probably do that. She talks about them all the time. Especially Camus. She's his biggest fan. Tried to remember it as Camo and Curry at first. Camo and Curry. Sounds like an Indian restaurant where they sell military supplies. Alright, what time is it? Oh yeah, I need to go get dinner. I've not eaten in a while. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. For some reason my pause never works on this thing. There we go. Let's play the music. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, people. Let me know if you prefer a stream on a Wednesday or whether you want it on a Tuesday like I used to do, or usually do, I should say. Or if you prefer a Friday. I'm always open to hearing it. Thank you for hearing me venting as well and explaining my situation. And as I mentioned earlier, I will put a more detailed vlog on my Patreon available for free for you all to check out. I will post a link in the Discord when that happens. But yeah, hopefully it should give you some insight about my situation. And I don't want it to be a pity party or anything like that, but it's good to be known, I guess. But once again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. It's been wonderful to talk to you all, and I hope that the rest of your week brings nothing but good things. And even if there's some tough things, just know that eventually it'll all come to pass. Take care of yourselves. Keep an eye out for the next video, whenever that might be. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.